Sichameni. I think that's the word of the night. Hello and welcome to the Fan Cams after the Blues get done by the Lions tonight. 9 goals, 12-66 to 15 goals, 13-103 in front of, surprisingly, 32-odd thousand people at Marvel Stadium. It is Thursday, the 10th of July, 2025, and the hole deepens and the plot thickens. And this is the Fan Cams, and this is where we will unpack absolutely everything for however long we need to. I don't know if this one will go long. I truly mean that. I'm not sure. I mean, we'll go as long as as long as we need to. I don't know if it's going to be as, I don't know, like, are we mad? Are we surprised? It's pretty sad. Like, it's pretty grim. I don't even know. But, this is what it's all about. It's all about documenting every single step of the way until hopefully one day we're documenting the Premiership Fan Cams. That's kind of the dream, isn't it? That's what we're here for. One day, that's what it's all going to be about. So, yeah, look, if anybody would like to come on, anybody is welcome to come on. I'm going to put the link in the live chat. I've also sent the link to members via email. So check your emails. But, this is part of our ritual now. So it's what we do. And looking forward to it. Let's begin. Yasso, Jim.
Hey, what's going on?
Just another night, another week.
Yeah. When did you leave at the siren or just go a little earlier?
I left properly this time.
Yep.
I left at 3/4 time.
Oh, nice.
Never in my life. In my life.
I knew that would be a first for you. That's earlier than I've ever left a game as well, actually. How did that make you feel?
You know what? It felt good.
Yeah.
I watched the game on my phone on the train, and I had the guilts, and then I was like, what for? What for?
Yeah.
There's no guilt out there.
Nah, no guilt, man. 32,000 still went. That's a lot.
Yep.
Everyone left early, though. Last quarter, man, stands were empty, bro, on telly. Real bad. But that's a reflection of our season, right? That's just a reflection of where we're at. So I'm not disappointed or mad or upset. I think all the passion is gone. Watching that, it was just like, even 5 minutes into the first quarter, it was over, felt over. We just that little bit off in every aspect, in every contest. We go to get a handball, it just doesn't find the teammate, or it goes to feet, or Brisbane get a hand in, or that last week Collingwood got a hand in. We're just not clinical, we're just not clean, we're poor decision makers, and we're down on confidence. And it can turn. So I think it will turn. Obviously, it's not going to turn this year, but it almost felt like at times tonight, I was like, Charlie, just kick a goal, because that could really just turn our season just in the right manner. But he just can't find a way to kick. It's everywhere throughout the team. They're all down. It's crazy. Never seen anything like this.
You know what was the moment for me? Where I'm like, all right, this is what it's going to be. So this is a bit niche. It's the way that the ball came off Mitch McGovern's boot from the first kick in. Like, just the ball didn't spin right. It just wobbled. Yep. And there was actually quite a few of them that just couldn't make contact with the ball clean. The ball wasn't drop punting the way it should be drop punting. It was just wobbling off the boot. And I'm like, tonight, I thought we were in a simulation. I'm like, it's got to be hard to be this bad. Like, it's got to be hard for Matt Carroll to not have anyone talk around him and saying you're hot and get caught twice. Like, it's got to be difficult to do that, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. And I'm glad you mentioned that. It is talk. There was no talk around the lad.
No.
He didn't look like he was even trying to put a dump kick on the boot or anything. That's just the eyes around him just didn't say anything. And yeah, the McGovern and a couple of kicks tonight look like Darcy fought. So yeah, just awful disposal, kicking like just a ruckman. There is one point though that I told you earlier I didn't want to get negative, but I have to because I've seen this 4 or 5 weeks now. When are our boys gonna give it to someone? Like fucking get stuck in. Like Haynes gets fucked up, no one does shit. And then last week Moya got tunnelled, no one did fuck all. And I could think of 15, 20 this year. No one flies the flag, bro.
No.
I was saying to Lorenzo, my best mate, if someone did that to him at footy on Saturday, I'm getting fucking stuck in. What are they doing? The kids see that and they just probably don't feel protected. It's not good enough. I don't care if you're good, bad. You stick up for your teammate. Simple. It doesn't have to be like a punch or nothing. I'm not asking for that crap. Fucking get stuck in. Put someone on their ass fairly in a contest. They should have done it to Pendlebury last week. And tonight they should have done it to Zach Bailey. And they didn't. And it's riddled through the team. It's disappointing.
Are we about to see like a massive player exodus at the end of the year? Or am I getting paranoid now? Because they're checking out. They're so checked out. Like it's all just magically gonna catch a vibe again once changes come with great. Like, is that what's happening? Is that what is the expectation now? Like, make a few changes to the list, regenerate it, maybe build around Vossi or sack Vossi, whichever way you go, and then all of a sudden, these guys that are seemingly not caring as much or have checked out, they're just going to check back in. Is that what's happening? Like, is that tonight? I left. I'm like, these guys are out. Like, they're out there. They're out of the club. Some of them don't even want to be at the club anymore, and whatever. Like, fair enough.
Yep. Well, I mean, Tom's gone. That just looks gone.
Yeah.
All right. If you're a betting man, is Charlie staying or going based on what you saw tonight?
Well, why would you give? I mean, unless someone's going to pick up that contract.
Yep.
I mean, he's getting the ultimate reward. I think the least he owes is to find his spark and effort again. I mean, to be fair, I think that maybe early in the game, I thought he had a bit of effort, to be fair. But yeah, Tom really upset me tonight. Like, I didn't expect much more. Like, fine, whatever, we're not good. But Tom, that really upset me watching him compete like that. And it's, I don't know, is it Tom's fault? It's the club's fault? Like, are they just trying to get him to 100 games so we get to bank the, the father-son? Is that what we're doing? Like,
if we're doing that, the club's fucked.
Yeah.
The club's fucked if we're doing that. That's bad standard setting immediately.
Yeah.
We all said as a fan base, we want to see something in the last 7-8 weeks, yeah? If we're watching them get Tom to 100 games before he fucks off to St Kilda, nah, that's not it. That's not the recipe to win a flag. And every game, we should be building towards winning a flag. I don't care that the season's done. You just need to be building towards winning a flag. He's checked out. I thought Charlie's efforts were minimum standard for the first 3 quarters, but why is the bloke taking marks at half back, wheeling and kicking it to no one? It's like it's no different to Teague playing Gibbons at full forward. No different. It ain't. Man. It's the same fucking thing. It's just 4 years later.
Oh,
it's shit. So I don't think Exodus, but you never know.
What, young Harry O'Farrell, like he worked through it, like he had his moments. So, I mean, I go there now looking for the future. Mark Pitternet, I mean, the goal at quarter time.
Elite.
Like, sure, happy with that. Like, I got up out of my seat, I smiled, had a laugh. Thank God it was at quarter time, so there was a bit of time that we could sit with it. And then the first passage of play in the second quarter, Brisbane just like walk it to their forward line.
There's just like when something good happens, bad in a row, and that's the season, mate. But Look,
Yeah.
it's going to turn. It's not going to turn this year. And we might win 2 games from here. So, 8-win season incoming. Anything more here is overs.
Yeah. Mate, appreciate you being here.
All good, bro. Thank you for what you do.
No worries, man. See ya.
Peace.
Bane, purple and green, $10. Going to give Priestley another softball interview, Tez. Oh, yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers. And great to see many Fitzroy fans there tonight. Such a long road for so many of them. Glad they've been able to see some Melbourne wins lately. Thanks for the $10. How about we figure out what the fuck we're doing at stoppage and behind the ball and the way we set up, and how do we win games of footy? But sure. Joseph, thanks for the $8, mate. Costas Luras, thanks for the 2. Cripps disposal has become a real concern. Yeah, there's a lot of concerns. James, why the fuck does Terry look like Dane Zork nuts? Yeah, I kept a little bit of length on top, so I might have the Dan Zorko head tonight. But yeah, fair enough. Ella, Tony.
Yes, sir. Again.
Back for
more. To a wasted year.
Cheers, there.
Cheers, mate. Where do we start? The first thing I wanted to bring up, actually, remember in the early years of Bossy being at the Blues, he talked about these layers. They were building layers, and they're going to come in bit by bit. Where's that talk gone, mate? Are the layers done? Is this the layers?
It was get comfortable being uncomfortable, fellas. I remember it.
Yeah. But, the same, if these are the layers, then, it's a sponge cake, probably, rather than some serious foundation. I do question it because, if you look at stoppage, the amount of times we get caught forward of the ball and we're actually not winning at stoppage is actually phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. The little toe pokes to advantage, the little taps to advantage we don't see. It cooks my brain when I watch Carlton play, and you're a bit tall short, if that makes sense. You haven't got enough tools there. You've got Charlie, for example, 2v1. And either him, leadership team, or the coaching staff don't come out and sort of say, listen, let's use this to. If there's 2 on him, there has to be a player free somewhere. There just has to be someone free.
Yeah. And
how someone doesn't get near him, to the feet of him, so that he can actually contest and bring it to the ground, then we go from there is beyond me. I can't really understand it, mate.
Yeah. Some of the decisions out there that are made, I mean, Vossi will obviously take some blame. He's the coach. Buck stops with the coach. But, some of the decisions out there and the way that they turn the ball over out there and the lack of talk out there. And, I do have room where I do feel for him a bit because, these players just – some of the things out there, I don't know if that's coaching or if that's just a player's lack of attention to detail in their preparation.
Look, it's got to be a bit of both, doesn't it? I'm sure Vossi's not going there saying, don't do these things. I can't imagine him sitting there saying, look, we're not going to do this sort of stuff, fellas. They're just not doing it. I don't know what it's going to take for them to actually have the courage to be, the team that we've seen. I'm hoping that we're reversed the Bulldogs, Richmond, Collingwood disaster season followed by something that turns around into something magical. I think we're all hoping that, to be honest with you. But at the moment, it's a struggle to watch it, week in, week out, because, it's pretty tough. There were some passages of good, I have to say. There was a few times there was that one sort of break from the middle where Cripps got a couple of handballs in, and we finally hit someone in the forward line, and you thought, wow, look at that. He actually still is in this squad to be able to do that. How do we make it happen consistently? The other thing that was glaring, and I think it's glaring for everybody, is the difference of Brisbane or any top side taking the ball from their back line to their forward line compared to us. it feels like we are trying to crawl out of quicksand, while another team is basically running on the flattest track you could ever imagine and just walking it out of there. And I don't know if that is a pressure thing, a design thing of how teams do it. I'd imagine it's probably a bit of both, but it is stark. It is massively different from both. And that was even when we were playing quite good football, if I'm honest. When we were on top and actually winning games, that looked painful for everyone to watch, and probably for the players to actually try to do.
I think because I've taken the emotion out of it a bit, and the way I watch the team over the last few weeks, like it's getting less and less. I'm just laughing at the mistakes at this point as they happen. But to watch the way the Lions move with purpose, and even the little things like when they kick the ball, it's always to the space of where their teammate's going to be. There was a kick, for example. I'm not trying to just pinpoint Ollie. Like I love Ollie and his work ethic, but his attention to detail and his disposal just lets his effort down at times. And he had a kick to, maybe it was Zach Williams out of the back, out of D50, and he just put it a little too high for him and just allowed the Brisbane defender to get there. And it's like that little difference here or there, and it happens all over the ground. And man, we just get punished for it.
It happens so many times. It's out of D50, it's into D50, where you think to yourself, at least put it into the space where they actually can't intercept it cleanly. Yeah. So we can potentially make it a contest. So if you do shank your kick, because let's face it, we're all not perfect. You're not gonna hit someone every single time, but put it into that space where that intercept can't happen. And it feels like we're almost aiming for the space that the intercept can happen. We're almost giving them the opportunity to make it happen, which is the frustrating part. So I don't know where we go from here. I think what everyone else has said pretty much. We just got to give it a crack. There's a few players out that would be rather important once they get back into the squad, see what they can do, give it another crack. No Voss, doesn't really matter. We'll have to wait and see. We probably do need to adjust our style of football. I don't think that we're going to be able to win a premiership by trying to, smash our way to a premiership. At all. There's no chance of us doing that. I think we've proven that. We've got to get better kickers, people that can actually hit some targets, and a bit of better brain, a bit more brains. The communication point that was made earlier by the first lad is absolutely key. Like if you can't rely, you're 22 players out there. If you can't rely on the person to the left and the right of you, like the Spartans with the shields, that made them strong because they sit there in defense. One of them would have a shield, and the person next to them had a shield. And if one of those shields broke down, the whole army disintegrated. And what made them so profound and amazing was they relied on that person next to them holding up that big shield. And that is what is the difference between having faith in your teammates, in your workmates, in your club, in your administration, whatever you want. That's the difference, is knowing that person next to you is going to hold up that shield for the betterment, not just of the person to the left and right of you, but for the collective. So
it looks like there's more damage being done, and like I'm well aware that we're not good, and we're going to ride it out to the end of the year. And it looks like for the first time they're actually going to stick to their word and not sack the coach and just ride it out with him. And well, that's what it seems like. But yeah, tonight's the first time I was like, no, these players are so checked out that I'm now thinking, are we going to get like mass trade requests at the end of the year? Like we're all thinking, just make one or two changes. Like if DeConing goes and then maybe trade one of Harry or Charlie, I'm thinking, what if they all just want out? What if this is I don't know. I don't want to fearmonger, but tonight I genuinely felt a lack of care, just self-pride. And we've seen it over the last few weeks, but or is it just gotten to them too much? And if it has, is it scarring?
Well, I said it to you earlier today that mentality is number one. I know that the football clubs, coaches that they'll interview a player before they come to the club because they want to know about their family. They want to know about them as a person. Are they the right type of character to be in the team?
Mm.
And I think that is critically important. So, is it an assessment of the list and saying these are the characters that we do want? And I think most of us will probably know who we're talking about here. Looking at the ones that are just like, no, they're not fitting, and they're the ones that are the trade bait, and then starting to look out there, not just for talent on its own, but quality people that are going to get the job done. That I think is going to be critical, and hopefully the club, from coach to CEO and everyone else in between, is what they focus on. Because if they don't, it's just going to be another. We can't do a rebuild, mate. Really, I mean, the team is actually not. When I say it's not that bad, everyone's probably going to criticize me on here. It's really not that bad.
No, you
It
can
probably
celebrate.
needs. It probably needs a little bit of a tweak to get it to that next level. And if we can do that, that's great. We'll get it there. To start all over again at this point, you're looking, and there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that next rebuild's it's gonna work. The last two didn't. So, the last two didn't. So why would we put our faith in that again? So look,
Fair.
God bless you, brother, because at the end of the day, you do an amazing job. And to all the fans out there, I don't want to even use the word stick fat. Keep them accountable, mate.
Yeah.
Keep them accountable. Make them come to the party. They should be embracing us, talking to us. And I'm not even the most passionate person out there. There's other people that I've seen on this chat that are super passionate about this club. They should be chatting with them, meeting up with them, not in the boardroom to make decisions, but to understand the feeling of the club. That changes your perspective, your decision making, emotion. Yes, should be kept out of decisions, absolutely, but you should know how people are feeling. And if the club does that and embraces us and doesn't turn on its fans, I think we'll be much better for it.
Yeah. Mate, well said. Thank you again for calling in, and thanks for being a member. Speak soon.
Pleasure. Be well.
Bye. Being purple and green, another 10. I get looking for the future, but geez, Flynn just kept getting burned by his teammates. What has happened with Chera, and why is Cripps such a chest-out, nil impact player? Yeah, thank you. Gorkhan, hey mate, we've had 17 quarters this year where we've kicked 0 or 1 goal, of which happened in the last 10 consecutive games. We've had 17 quarters this year where we've kicked 0 or 1 goal. No wonder why we're broken. Ben Rochi, thank you for the 2, mate. Ben Leonard, thank you for the 8. So hard to watch at the moment. We're sitting ducks. It's a good call. Nothing to even look forward to for the rest of the season. The kids aren't ready. Yeah, like lambs to the slaughter. Hey, Julian.
How you doing, Terry?
Mate, I'm well. I am, just another night.
I feel that, man. I'm in New Zealand at the moment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with my partner. So it's 12:50 here, man. So we just, we went skiing today, and far out, man, going down some more slopes. Like, we went to the bar just before, and man, I didn't want to leave the bar, but my partner was like, come on, it's late, let's go. I couldn't leave, but it's like, man, it just felt empty. It just felt like, and there were people in there, from Brisbane or all over Australia who were just laughing at the Carlton boys. And when TDK was when he went for his kick, just the laughs that you heard, it's like, what's absolutely going on? It's rubbish.
Yeah. I've just resorted to just laughing it off at this point. I mean, the mistakes get made, the poor decisions get made, the low IQ plays get made, and the turnovers.
But I'm wondering, these low IQ mistakes, it's like, if we want to get the kids ready, and they're seeing our leaders, cook the ball over their heads, it's like, what are we teaching these boys?
Yeah.
And who's the barometer at the moment? Who's the Dennis Armfield? Who's the the always that we once had. Like, who is sticking up? Who's kicking these goals and, you know, grabbing their jumpers? Who's doing that?
Yeah. Well, I thought, I mean, I understand, you know, play the kids and it's important. I just thought there was a really important learning lesson there for Matt Carroll.
Yeah.
Like he lost himself for a moment. I thought in the moment, I remember we were sitting where we were, and I was like, just get him off. Like, take him off, speak to him, calm him down, tell him it's okay.
Yeah.
Left him out there. Very next play, does it again. I'm like,
Oh.
get him off. Like, don't ruin him. Like, he's obviously made a mistake. He's feeling it. He's a passionate Carlton, all of that. You know, he cares. But get the kid off and just talk to him and calm him down. And
the people in the bar, they were pissing themselves. And it's like, two in 1 minute is ridiculous.
Yeah, that just can't be good for him. But also, he's got to learn. So, iron it out of his game now. I don't know. What would I know?
But who's coming in? Who's the barometer being like, mate, come on, chin up, learn from this, go off, have a little break. Because what does that do to a player? What does that do to a man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just tough stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's just tough. Calling in from New Zealand. The commitment, man, I love it.
Man, and there was 2 minutes left. My partner's like, let's go home. Hold on. I think there's something in here. No, nothing. It just makes me wonder what it feels like. End of 2021, where it's like, again, where are we right now? Again, where are we?
Yeah.
2021, and we're back here again. Where are we?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
No man's land, it feels like. And maybe, you know, maybe you make some changes and there's a regeneration and there's a bit of an uptick next year, and we'll look back and say, it's okay. It's just footy and it happens, and you never know what's around the corner. And maybe it's just in this moment right now. It's so hard to see. Like spirit is so hard to just turn on. Like, how do you just turn on collective spirit?
Well, actually, I want to ask you, how do you find the spirit to just keep doing what you're doing? Like, you know, pushing out the content, interviewing important people at the club. What makes you keep going?
Well, the why is the same as the beginning. It's document every step until we win the flag. Like, that's the purpose of it all. Did I think by 2025 would be pretty close? Yeah, I did. And so the why is strong, and you know, the longer we go into it, the more resilient. Like, you get tested. But also, I feel like once you start something, you should finish it, particularly in a season. Like, if you start a season, you should finish the season. So, and I mean, this is just as therapeutic for me as what it is for those who watch as well. Most people just watch and don't come on because they just want to, you know, feel, you know, a part of something. And so it's just as good for me to have a space to funnel it all and come out the other end. And yeah, I'm grateful. So it's a privilege, man. That's what it is. It's
absolutely is a privilege. Absolutely. Imagine getting so upset about a team that is there for our entertainment, really, at the end of the day. And we have such a privileged life that we get to enjoy something that's external from us. So yeah. I don't know.
Well, that's it. That's all. It's perspective. It's perspective. I mean, if Carlton being a disaster and a basket case is our biggest problem that we're complaining about in our lives, then we're going very well.
But at the same time, are we now the barometer? Are we the ones who are trying to? Do we get around the boys more? What do we do?
I think so. Of course, default is support, but also everyone's got a choice. I think we don't have to sign up as members. Like, it feels dirty to say it, you know. But we do have a choice in life. Like, we do.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So,
I'll call it there. But thank you for what you do, mate. So good on you.
Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for calling in.
Of course. Cheers.
All right. See ya. Where are we? Vic Wide renovations. We got done holding the ball about 20 times. Yeah, it felt that way. Lucas, I travel 2 hours from Bendigo every home game, and it's hard, but no matter what, I'm still going to every home game and every VFL game tomorrow. Matt, I love that. Good on you. I think the VFL are on at midday tomorrow at Icon Park, so keep it up. I mean, that's the beauty of what a footy club is, right? Like you just, you're a part of something. So just bad times right now. VFL fan cam's looking real good at the moment. It's not a bad idea. All right. I've got about 5 here in the waiting room. I'm going to put the link in the chat if anybody else wants to join in. Braden, hello, sir.
How are you, Terry?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
All I can say is, at least it wasn't 60-0.
Yeah, well, there's an improvement on that, I guess.
At least it wasn't 60-0. But yeah, tonight shouldn't be surprised. Thought we were going to lose coming into it, to be honest. As sad as that is to say. You look at the Brisbane midfield. It's probably going to go down as a legendary midfield once they're all said and done. But it has to be said, some good signs from young players tonight, I think. Farrell, even Moira to a degree, even though he didn't kick them. But the potential, I think, with a few of those guys is there. And tonight, the unsung hero of all people, Mark Pitternet, who would have thought, probably provided us the best moment of our year.
He was our most dangerous ruck and our most dangerous forward almost.
Yeah. Oh. Probably not a great sign when that's happening, but if he's going to be there next year, let's hope that's how he's going to perform. Because the way I see it, DeConning is gone. The way he's playing at the moment just doesn't seem to be in it. And the fact that Pitternet is getting played over him at this time where DeConning is meant to become one of the premier ruckmen of the competition, that's probably not a great sign that he's staying.
Yeah, he's like Tom. Again, I'm not sure what you think of the situation. I've always said, if he is to go, fair enough. Life-changing offer, like fair play.
Not sure why St Kilda would do it when they've already got a good ruckman, but
yeah. And I think it actually gives me, the whole Tom situation's given me perspective on Bryce Gibbs. So he requested a trade the first time, it didn't work out, and so he ended up having to come back and play out that last year at the club. And so it was pretty clear that he was going to request the trade again and go home. And I remember his 2017 season. I don't know if he won the B&F, but he had his best year for the club. And he actually, ironically, helped us get that extra pick, which one of them became Tom DeConing. But I remember, he wanted to leave, and he made sure to be as professional as possible and play to the best of his ability and compete hard and all of that. And, I've been pretty critical of Bryce Gibbs as a player at the club. But I think now that I'm seeing what's happening with Tom, and he's just unable to get on top of his head no matter what's going on, and he's not able to compete at that high level. It's sad. It's sad to see.
And that's a guy who, on his day, could be the best player for this club, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Warren, yeah.
Yeah.
But
so what's for you? Like, what do you do now every week as a supporter? Like, what you just looking for the kids? Like, what signs are you looking for now?
Look for the kids, because I've accepted that. I've always thought this about this current Carlton side. We're far too top heavy on stars, right? That is the truth. Yeah. And I think what really, really has stung this stint under Voss is those guys who should have been coming through in those drafts that we buggered up, quite frankly. They aren't there. And that's why this disparity between, say, Walsh, Curnow, etc., and the 22nd guy in the team, that's why it's so vast, I think. And if you look at Hawthorn and how they've done it, you would have to say maybe don't necessarily have the A-grade talent of a Brisbane, but they're all very even in their talent, all across the ground. And that's ultimately why they've risen very quickly up the ladder, even if they're still quite young.
Yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. It's where we've done all the anger this year. Yeah. One thing I'm shocked that's happened this year, I think we all are, it's just the speed in which it's collapsed.
Yeah.
And having
Shouldn't
no, for sure. And just having to work through that, and like the balance of, oh no, we can still do something. Oh no, there's a little bit of hope. uh-oh, it's falling apart. Oh, shit, it's
The
actually falling
the
apart.
worst thing I think for me has been, it's not just been, say, Cripps who has fallen off. It's been Cripps, it's been Curnow, it's been Mackay, it's been Walsh, it's been Chera. You know, Hewitt, in all fairness, he's the one who stood up, but even in the last few weeks, I don't think he's been quite the same level. That's what's worrying. Every one of those guys, those big name players, have pretty much fallen by the wayside, and I feel so sorry for Voss. I know a lot of people will be saying, let's have his head, right? And maybe that's fair enough. I don't think he's necessarily got the best game style for the modern game, but I still think there is a good coach in there and very much a good man. And the way he's been treated by a lot of our supporters is, and I know that Defret was a Collingwood fan, but not great. And the question is to the new CEO, do we keep him? Because right now it looks like we're going to have to go for another little rebuild. Is he the man for that job?
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Mate, appreciate you coming in, sharing your thoughts.
No problem.
We'll speak soon.
Have a good weekend, Terry.
You too, mate. That is the voice of an angel, if I've ever heard one. George.
Hey, Tez, how's it going?
Mate, I'm well. How are you?
Oh, you know, another Carlton game, another loss. Just getting used to it now. But look, starting off, you know, Pitternet, great Torp goal. He's actually kicked now. It's 4 goals in the last 2 games against the Lions. So he's a key star forward against the Lions. But look, I guess starting on the positives, Lockie Cowan, you just love the aggression, love what he brings. I think he's just a younger version of Newey, who I think we're really missing more than anything. I think he's been the biggest loss of the year. I know Jagger went down. That was, you know, a lot of expectation we lost. But I think Newman in the back line, he gives us that aggression. I think it's the leadership we've lost. I think Wiedering, you just tell no more confidence. And I think Newey would have been the guy that would have gone to Carroll, settled him down when he had those 2 blimps. But, other than, I think, Lockie Cowan, I think, got some good signs with Harry O'Farrell. But, yeah, I think always going up against Brisbane, it hurts seeing their forward structure. They got the really good half forwards, forward pockets. We'd kill to have a Zach Bailey. You know, he carved us up. Thank God he missed quite a few shots. But, yeah, I think just the disparity in seeing how clean they were from the back line to the forward line, and we just couldn't. It's a typical Carlton of they needed that one kick to go right. It goes off, it skews off, and then Brisbane carry it through, kick a goal. Just frustrating. I think Fogarty, that really hurt. That set shot right in front, hits the post, just puts the dagger through the heart. Just kind
Probably
of
4 of them. I reckon there was that one. I mean, I thought Zach Williams just sort of taken that shot instead of passing to Jesse. And then Jesse has got to be kicking that.
Jesse was lucky, I think, not to get called play on and get tackled. But again, he nearly kicked that out on the full. So just the little things that, I mean, look, would it have affected the scoreline? Would it have affected the result? Not really. I mean, we kicked 3 goals in the last to their zip. So flattered the scoreline a little. But, I mean, look, we're past Collingwood, we're past Brisbane now. So I'm hoping that's the most pain we're gonna suffer now, leading to the end of the year. But yeah, like looking towards the end now, I think the hardest bit is you were talking about the players checked out, and I think DeConing well and truly that's a lost cause there. But I think the frustrating thing is we as the fans know that there is going to be some sort of change now. Whether that's Voss goes and they kind of clean out, you know, Brad Lloyd and others, whatever it is, but. You know, in terms of accountability for our main players, you know, fine. Akers went out, good. If he had come in, would he have affected the result? No. So I'm glad to see kids play. But, you know, you're going to have, you know, Cherry gets 25 touches. Yes, his body's right. But, you know, we recruited the guy to be one of our premier mids, and he's just in the back half racking up touches. So, you know, he's not really affecting the game. So, you know, the likes of him and others that, you know, there's no, I think the accountability wise, there's no fear for them, because if they know that, the head coach is going to go next year, they know that, well, they've got probably a free pass at the end of the year. So, if they've checked out, it's not really going to, I think, affect their careers beyond this year, which is, I think the only thing that frustrates anyone is more the supporters, because we're still turning up, we're still seeing it, we're still copping it. And as much as we've resigned to the fact that, it's not going to be our year this year and it's going to be a tough year, we're still as invested as we are. We just don't want to admit it, but it still hurts us.
Of course.
Thankfully, we've got this forum as the cathartic way to vent our frustrations.
Yeah, I think that's just, honestly, that's what it's all about. If anything, I would say we have lowered our expectations week by week over the last month, just little bit by little bit. Can they be lowered anymore? All we're asking is for 4 quarters of desperation. If you get picked apart.
Compared to the last couple of games, I feel like there was an increase in effort, not to the standard that we all would like, but I think, watching that Port game, that was just from the get-go. Didn't turn up. Collingwood just, 4 goals, 3 quarter, just that third quarter was just a complete rot. But I think this game they did try, but it was that gulf in skill and execution really showed. And when Brisbane needed to, they romped on 7 straight goals and it was all she wrote. And you just, I guess hoping more than anything else at the future. I mean, from your perspective, Tez, what do you think of Nick? Where do you think Carlton goes next year?
I don't know. Maybe I'm maybe I'm just getting a little bit emotional because the game happened not long ago now. But I'm seeing damage that might look a bit irreversible.
Yeah.
Look, it's like they're damaged. Like they've. It's like something's happened. It's like something's happened, and maybe we're not allowed to know about it until the end of the year. That's what it seems like. And I'm mindful to speculate too, because we don't know. But it's pretty clear that something's fractured the togetherness of that group. And okay, the season falls apart, and we're not the top 4 team that we thought we were hoping to be this year, and the one that Brian Cook was saying we might have been this year. Okay, sure. And then, we've somehow fallen out of even just scraping into the finals of being one of those teams. But for it to collapse like this, it's like something's happened and I just don't know what it is. And again, as for next year, I don't know. I don't trust the decision makers to get it right. Yeah. I don't trust the culture of the club as it is right now. I think what we're seeing now isn't really about what's happening over the last month or even this year. This is a culmination of poor decisions down the line, lack of attention to detail down the line, and the fans are frustrated because they feel everyone feels it differently, but there's a deceptive element to this. Because we continue to sort of buy into it. We continue to be told that we'll leave no stone unturned until we fix. This was 4 years ago after the external review, and it's like, okay, well, no. And we bought in
2023. We went for the ride, and I think a lot of the fans thought that's we're it now. Yes, we got to the prelim, but 2024, and just after that round 16, it just nosedived. And whether that something happened then and it's just leaked into this year, but we had the preseason, where Jagger goes down, that was hard, but then we have that really good win against GWS, and we're thinking, all right, this is. I mean, it's a preseason. Don't want to get too much into it, but it looked all right. Kemp's up forward, and then that Richmond game, dagger through the hearts. We thought, all right, we've still got time to salvage, and it just went to complete shit very quickly.
Only 6 more to go.
That's it. We'll get there. But thanks, Tez, for the platform. Keep doing what you're doing. And
have you called in before? Have you called in before?
I think it was that game against 2022 Collingwood. That would have been it. The memorable times, Tez. Memorable times.
Fair. All right, George. Thanks for calling in, mate.
All right. Take care. Cheers.
See ya. Daniel, play the kids. Bring Lemmy in. Bring the Campo boys in. Thought Harry O played his heart out. Loved his work. Stay strong, Tez. You're not alone. Yeah, some good comments. Yeah, I did also think Harry O'Farrell grew into the game as well. Isaac, hey mate,
Hello, Terry.
how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. First time coming on the show. Appreciate all you do for the supporter base. I
Thanks
had
for being here.
two things I wanted to get off my chest. The first being, I could not believe at 3/4 time the karaoke song being the Lion King related when we're down by 60 points against the Lions. Like, I just don't understand how no one's sort of reading the room there and just saying that this is a really bad idea. We should probably not do this. And yet, not only are Carlton supporters like singing along, like they're singing along, but the Lions supporters are singing along as well. So everyone's singing the Lion King as we're down by 60 points against the Lions. Like, it's just, I don't know your thoughts on the whole 3/4 time thing, but I just feel like if we're down by that much, surely someone at the club pulls like a veto and says, we're just gonna not do anything today.
Some of the noises that I hear from, like, I mean, I've made it pretty clear that the Freddie Mercury thing pre-game, like, it just hurts my ears. It's just annoying.
Yeah,
like I don't know. Like I might be in a minority. It's just my opinion. It's icky, and maybe it's because we're losing and we suck. It probably is.
But it's also like it's manufactured. Like it's not true to us. It's never been true to us. Like this is something that someone in the marketing team has said, you know, it would be really great if we just sort of started to band together this song and the Carlton supporters latched onto it and it became a thing. But it's never become a thing because you sit there pre-game and no one is singing along. Like I'm an AFL member. I sit along the wing every week, go every week. And you never hear any Carlton person singing along to any of the pre-game ever. I don't know. Yeah, it's nuts.
I'm with you. I think so. They've done Dance Cam, which don't get me started on Dance Cam, but whatever. It is also about the kids and having fun. The one that I thought was clever was at the MCG Collingwood, the Oblivious Cam. I think it's genius.
Yeah,
that's fun. Like it's funny. It's kind of funny and like it's
inoffensive.
Engaging. It's inoffensive. Yeah. If anything, it gets a bit of a laugh going and it might lighten the mood without being too in your face. But I don't know. I guess tonight was all about the kids and you saw it in the whatever. I don't know. Yeah. It's almost like when you're a kid, you're important. As soon as you become an adult, well, it's too late. You're rusted on. We don't care too much about what you want.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. Like 27 years old, having seen this script play out like 5 or 6 times before now. And it's like, I can just see that there isn't a light at the end of the tunnel, and people who sort of sit there and kind of blame like individual people and players, like you said it just before with the last bloke, this is a whole club thing, and it's been decision after decision after decision that we have made incorrectly at the wrong time. And it's just coming back now to bite us. And we're about to go again on this, what is probably going to be a rebuild. Because, like, personally, I don't see a world in which you can re-sign guys like Gov. You can despite his form, like Williams in the past few weeks, like, I don't see how a guy like him can sort of carry on into this sort of new era under Wright. Like, Doherty, obviously love him. I've always loved him, but you can just sort of tell that his time is probably up and we probably need to give him the respect that he deserves for the rest of the year and then sort of say, Doc, that you've done what you can for the club,
Do you
and we
think-
love everything about you.
So the Doc one's interesting, right? Because I don't like feeling this way about him.
Same here.
You know,
I totally get it.
You know, like,
Yeah.
but it's the truth. The game is clearly at a point now, and it's time to maybe look ahead. And I'm thinking, is it just a farewell game now? Like, just announce it, his last one, and that way he sort of goes out, and we can all kind of get behind that one last time, because it's really uncomfortable, because he's clearly not going to be part of the future, and I do want to. It's a miracle that he's even playing, and that's all.
100%.
No, and I just feel really awkward about it with him. But it's the truth.
Yeah.
He's not there anymore. It's not him. It's not the best of him anymore.
Yeah, and I think the really hard thing is that, like, and the thing that I've struggled with around Doc the player is that you have to separate, like, the journey that he's been on, because this is like a part of the journey where you hit a point in your career where, and this happens with every player, right? Regardless of how many knee recos you've been through, and, you know, everything else that Doc has sort of been through that no one else in the league can say that they've gone through. But you have to sort of look at him as the player, and is Doherty the player? But, like, is he living up to his end of the bargain now in this side? And you probably have to be real and say, like, probably not.
Yeah.
And you just have to rip the Band-Aid off with players like that going into this new Graham Wright era, whatever that looks like. So him, like, guys like Fogg that you kind of just want to love, but, like, so many times, like, the disposal lets him down, and then, like, it's really difficult. And I think there's going to be, like, a lot of changes in 2026. What that is, I don't know, and how drastic that is, I don't know. But I'm just kind of so over the fact that I've seen this before, and I don't know if I can be bothered doing it again.
Oh man, I feel that.
Yeah.
I think Julian called in earlier, and he's like, he's in New Zealand, and it's got me thinking, like, don't let Carlton stop you from living your life. Like, I think Riley as well, who comes on at a lot. And he's living in the UK at the moment. It's like it's pretty inspiring. Like, I pretty much live in Melbourne because of Carlton. Otherwise, I don't think I would really live here.
I'm the exact same. And when we went on that run in 23, I went on a 10-week Europe trip. So I missed out on being in Melbourne at a time where Carlton was winning games of football, playing exciting football, and being on top of the world. And so I missed all of that. So I've come back in, like, pretty much when the year was done, and then go through 24, get to round 16, and then it's just been crap. So I might be the bad luck chum, I've decided.
Hey man, everyone's looking for someone to be the scapegoat. Be careful.
There you go.
You'll have your turn this week.
Yeah, there you go. I can be the scapegoat, everyone.
Yeah.
It's not the players or the club or the board. It's me.
Yeah. Well, we figured it out. There
That's
we
it.
go. Hey
That's
man,
it.
thanks for calling in. I really enjoyed that. That was good.
No worries, Tez. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Bye. That was really refreshing. That was a good one. Andy. Hello, mate.
Evening, Tez.
You look cozy.
Yeah, I'm laying up in bed after another solid watch.
Yeah.
It's bit more effort in there today, but you know, we're not going to be able to transform. I think everyone's waiting for a transformation. It's not going to happen. I'd picked them to lose by 9 goals, so ended up losing by 6. You know, would have been a bit less if we could kick a set shot from 20 meters out, but you know, you get that.
Oh man, some of those shots that they missed. Like, would it have made a difference? I don't know. Maybe it would have given him some confidence. And the people who I was sitting with, I was saying, I don't know if it reminds me of 2018 or 2021, and we had a bit of a back and forth discussion. It was definitely 2021 where we were definitely a 40-point worse side than whoever we were playing, if we were playing a 40-point better side. And we would, like, cut it to 18 points, maybe 12, and then the other team would just, in the blink of an eye, just blow it out. And yeah, I mean, they are the Lions. We've just played 2 of the best teams in the comp consecutively. So
I don't one thing I'll say, right, and it's, you can miss a goal and people miss a goal. That's fine. But what
Yeah.
happens we miss is they go right down the other end and they kick one straight away. So that kills us. And the second thing is we never put scoreboard pressure on teams. We can put pressure on them by corralling them and tackling them and winning the ball out of the middle, but we never, and I'm talking this year outside of, North Melbourne, West Coast, we never put like pressure by kicking those goals. We never do things easy. So you can see when you miss a set shot after a nice clearance out of the center, and there was a fair few good ones tonight, like really back to our best, like forward hand pass and Cripps coming out the back and then sucking people in and then going forward. There was a lot of that. When you get it forward and you mark it and then you miss a set shot from 25 meters, you see the players, it sucks the life force out of them because you're just like, oh, dude, just kick the goal. Just finish it. And you can see Voss, he's just like, just finish the play. Just finish that fucking play. And it was really disappointing. Moya looked awesome. He's an electric player. Good overhead, got some good wheels. And he missed all of his shots tonight. And it was just it really sucked because I really wanted to see him get some reward for his play. And, the Fogarty one.
He's actually won, just on Moya, he's actually won. I mean, he played early in the year against Collingwood and he looked way out of his depth a bit. Now he's looking like he definitely should just be staying in the team for the rest of the year, no matter what. I've also just seen an update. So we know that Fantasia did a hammy, I think it was. He was subbed out. Mitch McGovern finished the game on the bench with hamstring awareness, will be assessed over the coming days. So just an update there on Mitch McGovern. Yeah.
Sylvain be back next week. So, that could be something. Not that, realistically, who cares? But yeah, it was just sort of disappointing. Some of those plays just not getting finished, and just again, sucking the life out of you. I thought, not to rehash what everyone said, but Harriet Farrell played pretty well, worked his way into the game. Matt Carroll and Flynn Young and just kept getting caught holding the ball. George Hewitt kept getting caught holding the ball. It was just
George was a weird one. George is not usually, it doesn't usually get to George too often.
Yeah. It's funny, watching Cripps tonight, Cripps, you sort of saw the Cripps of old. And last year, especially, we relied on Cripps to win every game and he just had to have 34 disposals and 2 goals to win the game. And tonight he was sort of back to best, but there's just still no one really to go with him. And you look at Brisbane's group and, you got Neil and the Ashcrofts and freaking Hugh McCluggage and Zach Bailey goes through there. And then Dane Zorko comes up and, everyone's been sucked into the play and then he just waltzes out and kicks it lace out. And I found it interesting, Tez, and I don't know if you noticed it at the game, but when we got it forward and we got marks inside forward, they wanted to keep kicking it to someone else to take the responsibility. Zach Williams did it a few times and I think Motlop, and it was sort of it was becoming infectious to go, I don't want the responsibility. And then the person would have the kick and go, oh, why'd you pass it to me? Because now I got to kick it. So there was it didn't ever look like a time where we took set shots where they were like, I'm just going to go back and kick this. And they did. So that was just, really evident on TV. It looked really obvious. No one wanted to know about it, to kick the goals. And I thought, man, how far along this forward line's come,
Yeah, man. It's that fall from grace.
I'm definitely a pessimist to say this, and I know it, but I think this club needs to get worse before it gets better. I can't, just with the position of our list.
You mean this year? As in, or do you think next year too?
No, I mean next year. I think they're going to have to sink lower to then go back up. I just don't see there being free agents or players that will agree to come to us now because of where we're at. You'd have to pull off a miracle to get players in, and game style clearly isn't working. To change a game style, that's not one season, that's multiple seasons. So I just think if Voss stays, they're going to have to reinvent the wheel, and then it's going to take a couple of seasons to get good at it. And that's my worry. Is it's not even how we look now, it's that there's no real light at the end of the tunnel for next year. I think next year is going to be much of the same, if I'm honest. We never seem to get a trick with injuries. We get rid of Russell, we bring this other guy in, and did he wrap him in cotton wool a little bit in the preseason to avoid injuries? Maybe. And then we get all these impact injuries, and then the fabled running injuries like Sam Walsh and Matty Cottrell. They always fracture bones in their feet because they run so much, and it's like, how do you avoid that? By not running, by not competing. So there's definitely, we can never just have a clean run at it,
Yeah.
So
a pressure release, I don't know where it's coming from, because it doesn't look like they're going to make any announcements until the end of the year. And maybe that's the big difference this time around.
We're keeping calm and we'll do it when
actually just weathering the shitstorm. But that's just so bad for the supporters. The support, we all bought in a lot of deeply, with time, with money, and I was listening to, I think it was Sam McClure with Dill Buckley and Mitch Cleary, and he was saying, whatever, sometimes you make bad investments, and this year for sure, those who bought a membership and upgraded their seats and made sure to have guaranteed grand final tickets just in case, and Legends Lounge member, okay, it was a bad investment, you didn't get return this year, and you just haven't got return on it for a long time. And that's the worst part.
Yeah, I mean that all sucks, and it's like you got to live with that. The shit happens. At the start of the season, as soon as the first few little issues happened with Newman and Jagger and the president, I was like, and then just watching the preseason games, I was like, we're going to be 10-12 this year. I made a comment to my uncle who got me on to liking this club, and he said, "No way." And I said, "You watch, mate. They aren't at the level." And then I've been, obviously been coming on to you for a bit, but the one thing, I want to broadcast to the Carlton members and the Carlton fans, there's 18 teams in the AFL, soon to be, if Tasmania get in 19. We are just not that good anymore. And even in 2023, we went on a lightning bloody run and got to the prelim. But even in 2024, we were up and down like a yo-yo. Our club in the last 25 years has just not been that good. And I feel that there's just too many other clubs that are more professional, better decision makers, better planning, better coaching, better standards, better training. And our club is just not one of those teams anymore. We had our success in the past, and I just think that we are just destined to almost be as we are at the moment. And until they make changes and have some form of consistency where we're playing and, winning finals and, not having these mass drop-offs, it's going to be really, really hard to convince me of that. I just can't see that we are at the elite of the AFL competition anymore. Drop-off has been so rapid this year, so it's,
Fair. I just think we have been projecting what we hope the Carlton Football Club to be for too long, myself included. I've been projecting it to be this thing because that's what was past. That was how I understood it. It's just not what we're delusional. It's just not what we have been projecting it to be. right now. It might have been something like that back at one time. It's just not that right now. It's it's resourced like that, but as a sports team and as a culture and as a center for excellence and all of these things, it's just not that.
I think we've just all
Yeah.
we've all lived on hope, and hope is a dangerous thing. Like we've wanted it so bad for them to this, and it's just we've just been not brainwashed, but we've just clung on to little things, and
yeah.
one's opinion that.
Anyway, mate, love your work. Thanks for calling in.
Good night, mate. See you later.
See ya. Let's go to the UK. Speak of the devil, Riley.
It's it's just incredibly flat. The way, like, was tonight anything that was unexpected? No, but I think
Not really.
what always comes to emphasis for me when we played the Brisbane Lions is they essentially started their rebuild journey at a very similar time to what we did. In a club that was as broken, particularly financially, as anyone, resource-wise, terribly at that period of time, and now I would say have become one of the pinnacles of sport within Australia. And we started at the same time, so it's a real reflection of what it looks like when it goes right sustainably and when it just does not. It's always a fascinating insight, I think.
Yeah, so we were both
from my side of things.
We were both bottom four, lads.
Youngsters.
I think we've got a bit of a lag
both
issue
bottom
here,
four.
but I'll go for it.
2018.
Yeah.
We were both bottom four in, between 2015, 16, 17, 18, and then they had their upshot. And I guess apart from us having a brief, lightning in a bottle resurgence for, 9 to 12 months, we've been consistently mediocre. And it's certainly not a resourcing problem. There's quite obviously a cultural problem. And the irony of it, I also find, is that the people who led that operation, some of them used to be at Carlton. It was Greg Swan, who's ultimately led that rebuild holistically of the club from where they were 10 years ago to get them as a sporting organisation into the last 5 AFL and AFLW grand finals. It is a fascinating insight, as you would say.
Remind me what they did, the Lions. So we had a similar draft, 2015. I think Hodgie went and played for them for a bit. I can't remember when Chris Fagan was hired. We went for the Bolton route. They went for Fagan. Is that right?
So 2015, similar-ish draft. That Hodge got there in 2018.
Right.
Fagan got there in at the end of 2016 after Lepage, and that's when they also had Danny Daly come into the club and really, really reset their program. Swan came in 2015 for them and really rebuilt that from a financial perspective. It's I think obviously they've had some very well-deserved benefits from father sons recently in the academies, but you can't look at that at all. It's just a case of when a club gets it right, and we're essentially stuck in purgatory. And I think the collective fear of Carlton fans now is it happened to us when GWS came into the competition, where we were sort of stuck in that middling mediocre stage and we couldn't get the draft benefits in what was compromised drafting, and we missed essentially 2 or 3 years of players. And now we're in a situation where realistically that's the same risk we could be facing with Tasmania, which then sets it back again in what is already a relatively compromised draft system. It's football purgatory is not a good place to be at all. And the class difference between us and, dare I say, most of the competition now is stark.
Yeah.
It's honestly so stark from just a skill level, execution, composure perspective. I don't know what's happened to these lads' composure in the last 12 months. Out on the field, structurally, offensively. I mean, yes, we've probably gone too far defensively, and the defensive numbers look okay. But as Paolo always says, it's a very inefficient defensive model. And now we've seen the last couple of weeks that start to really break open, and those familiar issues of conceding goals from defensive stoppage, conceding goals on transition. They've all started to reappear again. So it's like the whole joint, the walls have just closed in now. And I've never wanted a season to end more. Really,
it's torture. It's torture because you know it's coming. You know it's coming when you go to the footy. You know it's coming. Yeah.
You do, and maybe, as you said, delusion is one way of absolutely putting it, but it's the hope because we saw, I guess, maybe a hint of it for a period of time, and this is the best the group's ever been in the 10-year cycle in this Voss administration era. But it's not there. It's just really not there. And yes, things can change quickly, but I struggle to see that happening. Yes, Graham Wright is an agent of change, but as you said a couple of weeks ago, and we said ad nauseum, they have to take on his recommendations.
Yeah.
And what that looks like. And it could potentially be a holistic clean out again. We go through the same cycle.
Can't wait, mate. I'm very excited.
Yeah. It's the absolute choice. And by the way, I think we can all acknowledge that it's probably going to be Sam Doherty's last year, just the way it's looking in the list profile, etc., etc. I hope as a club we give him the send off we deserve in the next couple of weeks. I really do.
Pick a game for him. Let him just go. Let him go out on a high.
That is someone that does deserve it as a footballer for what he's given. Yeah, exactly.
All right, mate.
Anyway, mate.
I've got a pretty solid delay
until next week when we do it all again. 6 weeks to go. God.
Try to manage it. Oh God, try to manage it. But yeah, I'll let you go. Thanks for calling in. They're so tricky to manage. Daniel, Pitto for goal of the year, highlight of the night. It was the highlight of the night. Thought he played well. Mark Pittonet. Robbie, welcome back.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, well, we shouldn't be upset about tonight. Like, did anyone expect a different result? I mean, surely, if anything, I think the scoreboard flattered us. Like, they were such a better team, so better structured. And if the last 2 weeks haven't illustrated the difference between where we're at and where we want to be, mate, yeah, we shouldn't be upset. This is where we're at. It's just absolute the Band-Aid off. This is where we're at.
Yeah.
This is pure rawness.
It's hard to not be upset because this is ultimately a year where we went into it, rightly or wrongly, thinking a push to the top. So
yeah, that horrible expectation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not horrible, but it's horrible when it doesn't turn out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
But you just see it like, just watching the game, man. Like they are so, and it's hard to not admire it. They are so beautifully structured. You know, the way they move it out of their back. It was almost like, honestly, two different sports. They would just move it out of their back line with ease and structure and beauty and precision. And, we were just it was hack kicks and errors and fighting and tackles and maybe, just maybe, an errant handball might find its target, and maybe an errant kick would find his target, and somehow we would get it. And then the kicking for goal. Fuck me. Are you serious? After all of that, Terry, after all of that, like I was like, we were watching it. There was like, and there wasn't many of us in the Bay 33 members. There wasn't many of us, I tell you. Everyone was like on their seats going, oh, come on. And mate, it was almost like we wanted something to hang on to raise us out of our seats, to cheer, to bring us. And then Charlie missed a goal, Cripper missed two. And I'm not going to.
Moya, there were a couple of them, man.
I'm not going to have to go. Moya's still nursery. He's but seriously, I don't know. Look, I'm not going to do the bashing Jesse Motlop, but if you can't kick that dude, you're not up to standard. You're just not. That's got nothing to do with game plan structure or anything. That's maybe I don't think the kid's up to it. Anyway,
I actually thought, that particular set shot that Mott's had, I don't know why Zach Williams passed that. Like, mate, take the responsibility and just take it on. Like, you're the senior guy out there. I kind of get it. It's like they're stuck between not wanting the responsibility and wanting to be unselfish, but also I just thought, Zach, that's your shot on goal, mate. The great passage of play. Just take it.
That's not an isolated incident, though, mate. But you've seen that creep in over this year.
Yeah,
it's happened repeatedly. Where if you're a forward, your key objective should be to kick goals.
Yeah.
Now, granted, if you feel that there's an obvious beneficial position that you can pass a ball to, fine. But mate, it's just like, and Charlie's done it as well so many times. Dude, you're the king. This is your job. I don't give a fuck. You're 45 degrees, 50 out. This is your shot. Miss it, you got to take it.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, I had this interesting conversation with someone at the bar, which I was a lot at tonight. We've got old. We've got old.
In the team or the supporters?
Yeah, well, we as in probably you and I too, but no, doing this, but no, the team. If you consider it, like in 22, right, where we kind of thought we were going to take that step. That was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Players that were in 20 years old are now 23. Players that were 23 are 26, 26-year-olds are 29. Walsh is 25. Harry and Charlie are 27. Same with Whitting, 27. Cripps is 30.
They're not.
Yeah, it's not old as in, but okay, it's maybe prime. Rather than saying old, it's prime. And this is where we should be in our prime. But we're talking about rebuilds and we're talking about gutting lists and we're talking about that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it. Maybe old's the wrong terminology. We've aged, and not aged in like got old, but aged as in we've got mileage in players now.
30-year-olds at Carlton are old. 30-year-olds at other clubs are in the prime. I think that's what you're sort of saying. Like, you look at Collingwood and you say, Zorko, for example, is 36.
Yeah, and then we're talking about
we ain't got any 36-year-olds playing for us. Talking about
retiring Doc. Would Collingwood be retiring Doc if he was playing in Collingwood? He played okay. I thought he played okay, though. I thought he actually played all right. But
fair enough. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a thing. But you know what I mean. Like we don't have many players that as soon as they hit 30, we just like start talking about retiring them. Whereas Collingwood are going, no, these are guys in their prime. Anyway,
it's just a failed. It's a failed regime. That's what it is at the moment. So yeah, mate. We'll just keep fronting up for 6 more weeks because trade rumors are coming. We're going to be stuck into them in October, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the channel again, man. It's it's a part of our weekly life cycle of everything. So thank you again.
Thank you for being here. See you, brother. Aiden,
Terry?
did you go?
Yeah, I went.
Sorry, bro. Did you stay
Yeah,
all the way?
yeah, to the very, very end. Yeah,
You stayed longer than me.
yeah. I didn't stay for that. I didn't stay for the medal thing. Yeah, I just stayed
Oh,
off.
who won it?
I think Josh Dunkley.
Fair.
Yeah, he had them like all of them. They'd probably have to split that medal because I could name 17 players. I mean, 8 players that absolutely torched us today. But yeah, it wasn't really surprising. I thought we'd get slaughtered, but I mean, we could have made that game close if we didn't miss some easy set shots. But what's happened to Charlie?
I don't know, man. That's
I don't know if you've seen or not, but I think this is the first time in 8 years that he's gone 0-9. I saw that stat before in 8 years, I think.
I think before the game, the last time he went 3 games without a goal was in his 7th, 8th, and 9th game. I'm not sure if he's ever gone 4 games in a row without a goal. But I thought he presented well early. It kind of fell away, and then the weight of it all just collapsed on him, and he just, I don't know. I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just him though.
It's
Like,
not. It's not just him. Like it's actually it's getting to Wiedering now. Like Wiedering, it's sad. It's sad to see. Yeah, they tried, but it's just.
No, I mean, yeah, they tried, but was it enough? Clearly not.
Nah.
But yeah, I mean, they did put in effort, which is what I wanted before. And look, maybe if we kicked those goals, it could have been a lot different. But yeah, we don't do hypotheticals in the real world. But again, TDK was, yeah, you can tell that he doesn't want to be there whatsoever.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I was saying it earlier. I'm not sure how much you've watched. Yeah, that one upset me. Like I understand we're shit and it's all cooked, like all of that, but just to see Tom out there, just not play like Tom.
Yeah,
Like if you know,
I saw him laugh and talk to the Brisbane players. I'm like, if you don't want to be here, then just say that you don't want to play. Like, what's the point of like if he doesn't want to play or be here, then I don't get why he's playing for. Because today we looked again better with Pitt in there. And fair play to him.
Pino, 2 games in a row, I'll give him his props. Like fair play.
Yeah, kicked a torpedo. I didn't see that coming, but good on him. But again, I really just hope that we don't drag TDK to 100 games. That's because we've done that in the past with players, and like I don't want him going to 100 games and then he leaves the club and gets his name on the locker and he leaves with, I think, majority of the supporter base not really respecting him at the moment, rightly or wrongly, and yeah, leaves the club in a pretty bad shape, how we are at the moment. But
so to play devil's advocate, right, on the DeConey thing, and I don't know if this decision's been made, but do you think this is a conversation that gets had? Let's just get him to 100. That way, in the future, if he has children, and remember he's one of 10, maybe he wants to have 8 kids. What if we get a father-son, a DeConing in the future? Or is that just playing with fire?
If they're having conversations of that, then I would be worried.
Yeah.
I'd be really worried. If they're having conversations, we'll get you to 100 games, you can go, because we believe that you'll have a father or daughter, and we can use the father-son or daughter rule, and we'll be fine. But again, if we're ruthless, just don't get him there. So, But other than that, I was pretty happy with O'Farrell. He was, I think he's building nicely. And Mac Harrell got caught twice in 20 seconds. I mean, I don't really blame him. There should be players that was playing next to him that clearly didn't tell him. They didn't talk. Just tell the guy to kick the thing. And I don't know. 6 weeks, clean out. Whether Voss stays, who knows? Likely will go, but should be a huge clean out. Not on field, probably off field. But unfortunately, I think
maybe a bit of both.
But the thing is, who are you gonna get rid of? TDK, and I don't think they're gonna get rid of Walsh or Harry, because apparently Harry doesn't want to leave, and Walsh, he probably will stay. It will surprise me if they get rid of 2 big name players. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'd want them to do that, but I just don't feel like they will. But it sent a great message to the other players that they're not safe. So,
well, tonight we lost 2 players already to injury. Well, one for sure, Fantasia. I think he did a hammy. And then we got a notification not long ago that Mitch McGovern had hamstring awareness, whatever.
And apparently Williams did a hamstring as well.
Tonight?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. How true that is, I have no idea. But
okay,
that's what I saw.
I'll wait. I'll wait until I see that. When you say you saw it on Twitter, you like a reporter tweeted it, like the club tweeted it, or
no? I saw it. I can't remember. I'm not too sure who it was, but I know from memory it wasn't a journo, or it definitely wasn't someone from the club. But I think it's something to keep an eye on for Tuesday, because that'd be really concerning. But again, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but does it? Because there's really nothing to play for this year.
I think it. I mean,
it does matter. That
we can't lose sight of the fact that.
It does matter that.
Or is that me?
I think that's you. Are you there?
Sorry, go ahead. It does matter. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it does matter that they're getting injured, but I'm just saying, like, at the same time, like, I think this is a good opportunity to blood some more younger players potentially as well. See what we can do with them next year. But on to Melbourne. Do you think if we lose to Melbourne next week, do you think they'll pull the trigger and call it a day with Voss? With Voss?
No, I actually think they're just going to ride it out. Otherwise, they would have done it maybe by now.
Yeah. I think if we lose badly next week, I think they would. But I agree with you. I don't think they will. I think they'll probably want to keep it all stable and see what happens end of the year.
Yeah.
So,
make a statement though. I mean, so this is the other part. If they're going to keep him, what? That means they have to extend him, right? Because he's contracted until next year. So if the decision's going to be made that they're going to keep him and build around him, then extend him. Otherwise,
would they need to really extend him though? Because let's say if we do keep him, which whether I agree with it, whether a lot of people will agree with that, we'd have to stick with it. Can't we just let him see how he goes next year? And if it goes poorly, we pull the trigger and get someone else in? Or because, I mean, again, like I said it a few weeks ago, I don't think Graham Wright would want to start his tenure sacking a coach who's backing in, let's say, 10 rounds into next year if it gets bad. So, I mean, that's just me though. I'm kind of conflicted of it now. I think they will get rid of him, but I do think that they probably won't. To be honest with you, I feel like they probably see something in him, but again, I don't personally think he's good enough. But we'll just have to wait and see next year. But next week, if I'm making one change, TDK, stuff your 100 games. Thanks for everything. Go play in the reserves, my friend. Keith, come back in. Show us what you got.
There.
So, yeah.
Mate, we'll just do it all over again. At least we got a nice break now. We've got, I think it's next Saturday now we play. Thank goodness. I'm really excited to have it.
I remember saying to you in the preseason, I wish preseason lasted longer. And now you probably know why I said that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do know why you said that. I do now know why you said that.
Yeah, I genuinely can't wait. It's 7 months of peace. So, anyway.
Anyway, man, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
See ya.
See ya. We are going to go back to the other side of the world because Paul is calling. I don't know where he's calling from. Paul, hey, mate.
Terry, you got me?
Yeah, how are you? You there, mate? Are you with us?
Terry, have you got me there?
Yep. Got you loud and clear.
Hello.
Can you hear me, mate? We can hear you. So there's a bit of lag. I'm hoping you can hear me. Paul, where are you calling in from? Damn it. Oh, I should have played it. Hang on a minute. Paul, you there?
Terry, have I got you?
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. It's not coming through my headphones. Yeah, pretty good. Yourself? It's another miserable day in the office.
Well, it looks like a pretty nice day wherever you are.
Yeah, it's pretty good here. I'm actually at Wimbledon at the moment.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what have we got? Day 11 or so here. Women's semi-finals day. I think Sabalenka just lost the first set, which has sent everyone into a bit of a tiz here. But yeah, 28 degrees, enjoying it. However, there was action back in Melbourne. I well and truly know that. A couple of things about it, Terry. First one is that I've been away for a couple of weeks this time every year for about the last 14 years. First year, I haven't taken out the AFL Watch app. I thought, nah, waste of time. I'll just listen to it on the radio if I want to listen to it, which is a sign for me of where my enthusiasm is at the moment, because generally I wouldn't, as you probably did when you were away, wouldn't miss watching it live on the AFL app. But you know, these things happen, don't they?
Well, I was just saying earlier, I've come to realize you can't let Carlton stop you from living your life. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Paul, are you there? Oh, it's such a cool update to get from Wimbledon. I really want to get him in. Paul? All right, we'll bring Paul back in. Damn it. Kyle.
Hey, mate. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great. I have a few things I want to share.
Yep.
I'm going to put this scenario to everyone and in chat. And I was thinking about this for a few days now. Let's say Graham Wright has a list of recommendations to the board and he puts forward that the honourable members of the board are to put their hand up for re-election or resign. We have a recommendation that the head of football is to go and certain players to go, list management, etc., like the whole clean out. If the board oppose that, where do we go?
So, great question. Do you think that recommendation would be made public? Because I don't think it would.
I agree with you.
If it was to be made public, then the decision would be on the members to decide if we wanted to enforce that, which we could very easily.
Yep, easy.
But something tells me that his recommendations won't be made public.
Yeah, and that's my concern. I think that the members do have a right to know. We pay our memberships. We support the club. Obviously, you get your few bad apples, but that doesn't represent the majority of the supporter base. And I think people point at like getting rid of, let's just say, hypothetical, Charlie Curnow gets traded, and it comes out that that was the decision on behalf of the board. I think that the board would oppose that, and my thinking behind it would be is that the only thing that they have going for them, the current administrators of say the past 10 to 15 years, is that the profitability of the club has been extremely high, and they're really high marketing points for the club. I think if you take away that excuse from them, and they don't have anyone that they can sell, market, hope, I think you'll see a situation where they're just gone by default.
Well, I think this goes back to that conversation around a philosophical change around the club.
Mm.
You know, and a mentality around identity and what does the club stand for, and all of these things. And oh man, it's so repetitive.
I know. It's just. Oh.
But mate, like, as in, it's a fantastic point that you raise. It's just, yeah, it's kind of getting to that point where it is just a game. Like,
oh hell yeah, man!
It is all just one big fantasy, and we are all just taking it a little too seriously, maybe.
Well, yeah, you can't stop living. I mean, I had my sister's birthday today. That didn't stop me from living. So went out for dinner with the family. And I just want to remind chat that that's important. If you have the chance, please don't push your family aside. Please go have fun. You know, we would have all heard of the passing of Diogo Jota. Don't want to bring up the sad news too much, but it's just a prime example of how precious life is. And if footy is really making you that upset and affecting your day, then I think just take a step back a bit and just remember what you do have.
So tonight I went with my sister came with me. She's kind of cancelled over the last few weeks, and then we sort of spoke about it. I said, look, let's go. If you want to leave early, leave early. We'll go. We'll have a laugh. We'll hang out. Like it's still the family time, you know?
Yeah.
And she did. She left early. I think she left just before 3/4 time. She said, if Brisbane kick one more goal in the next minute or two, I'm going. And I think there was a turnover that resulted in the Brisbane goal straight away. Whatever. One of the many. And out she went. So it's just about how do you cope with it now at this point.
Mate, they're making us having family breakdowns now, it sounds like.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Oh, it's bad. Like, God bless this club.
Where were you tonight?
Where was I? I was at GYG celebrating my sister's 16th, so she got her L's today as well. So she went out for a drive and we're in the car. So that was exciting. It was the positive to take out of the day. But yeah, like I said, you know, life's short. It's precious. I'll think of something later down the track. Probably do some sort of post or video, get it off my head, and then I'll move on. But everyone, have fun. Have a good weekend. Love your family. Love your friends. And let's just move on.
Mate, well said. Thanks for calling in, Kyle.
No drama. See you, mate.
See ya. Paul, I see you in the chat. Yes, please click the link and join in again. Would love to try and get it to work. Kel.
Oh, good day, Terry. How are we doing?
Mate, we are doing well. How are you doing?
Oh yeah, look, I'm not too disappointed tonight because I was expecting it, but I know lots of people have brought up Pito's goal. Wow, it was amazing.
It was amazing, mate. We haven't
Yeah.
had much to celebrate over the last few weeks, and my sister was
Oh, yeah.
filming it, and I said to her, "You know, you're going to be deleting this video as soon as he kicks it because he's not making the distance here."
Oh,
And
yeah,
sure enough, he did.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You'll have to get it in one of your shows or something then.
Yeah, well, I'll try my best.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because of the copyright issues, it might be a bit problematic, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
how about you, mate? What else did you pick out of tonight?
Oh, look, Charlie's very out of form again. So, look, I know people have mentioned this. Get Lemmy in instead of him. Give Lemmy a go because look, he's doing really well in the VFL. Well, actually, most of the VFL team is.
Well, they played 5 days ago. They're going to play tomorrow afternoon. I think McGovern's got hamstring awareness. Got the D's next week.
Whatever that means.
Maybe that's the opportunity. I personally think Lemmy should be playing with Charlie in the team.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What do you saw? He's got a bit of
Charlie. Yeah, I think that's the right move. I mean, Charlie did present well further up the ground at times. It's just the options that he had to pick through weren't.
Well, maybe they could put him. Maybe they could put him in the back line for a week or two just to get his confidence up or something. I'm not sure.
Well, aren't we then making too many excuses for Charlie? He's $1 million forward.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look,
Anyway.
I really don't have another option. So yeah.
Hey, Cal. Listen, all options are on the table now, mate. We're in the shit.
Yep. I know, like you said earlier, we're doing pretty shit. So
we'll have some fun with it. Nah, love it. Love your work, Cal.
Yeah.
Mate, thanks very much for calling in.
No worries. Thanks, Terry. And go Baggers.
Go Baggers, mate. See ya.
See ya.
Paul at Wimbledon. Paul at Wimbledon. I think your headphones won't work, mate. Yeah, gotcha. You with me? I think the headphones aren't working. Are you there? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, mate?
The Wi-Fi here at Wimbledon isn't as great as what they reckon it is, I don't think. Sorry about this.
I think the internet.
Not going to work.
No, that's okay. I think the internet's okay. I think your headphones might just not be working with. So good. Kobe.
Hello, Terry. How are you?
Hey, mate. How you doing?
I think I've chosen the wrong day to have this back on the show, but you know, any day's a good day, you know.
Kobe, it's time to burn it.
The thing is, I put this on in the second half. I kept it off for the first half.
Okay.
And then I put it on start of the third quarter, and Brisbane kicked 7 goals in a row. So, don't know what the correlation is there, but I didn't end up going to the game today because I'm heading to my nan and pop's house tomorrow. We're gonna go out for lunch, maybe go to the movies, be something
nice,
fun. But I don't want to like. I know some people that still probably weren't too happy with tonight, but I was still happy that they showed somewhat more effort. If that's any consolation.
Okay.
What's its name? I really love Fantasia, but I just hate every single time. He's probably one of my favorite players, but he just can't keep clean, you know, for long. Like, just kills
His
me.
body just keeps letting him down, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think earlier a couple things with Charlie, he hasn't really had the opportunity to teach someone in that forward line properly. And I think, like you said, having Lemmy in that team might help him have that teaching opportunity.
Charlie?
Charlie. What do you reckon?
To have someone in there to teach Charlie?
No. So give Charlie an opportunity, like bring Lemmy in and give Charlie the opportunity to teach someone, because he hasn't really had that opportunity yet.
Maybe. I think he's had quite a few youngsters around him most of the year, whether that be Kemp, whether that be Moya. The Smalls have been there around him. But I think having Lemmy in there with Charlie is important.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Charlie's got to take care of Charlie at the moment because he's not doing it. He's not doing it himself.
Yeah. And with people bringing up who's our barometer, I see glimpses of a barometer in Zach Williams. I don't know what you make of that.
I think when he's fit and healthy and gets continuity in his body, he's got some tricks. It's just a matter of, can you rely on his body to stay healthy, which he hasn't been able to do it up until this point. But he's been okay the last few weeks, I think.
Yeah. And with the youngsters once again as well, O'Farrell, I really thought he was really good today. Carroll, he made his mistakes, but you just get those with youngsters. And once again, I think I really liked Lord in the last quarter when we brought him on as well. But the main highlight of my night, because I think you know where I'm going with this. I did not have any confidence in Pitto, if at all. I'm like, no way. Like I don't. And then I seen that he wasn't even going for the drop punt. He was going for the barrel. I'm like, oh no, this could go anywhere. And it goes straight through the big stick. So that was the highlight of my night. So
Yeah. No, fair, mate. Well, we've got what do we got? 9 days, I think, 8 days until our next game. So we'll just rest up, find some positivity on game day next Saturday, and hopefully we're not too let down again. Is Melbourne a winnable game now, or is that too much to ask?
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I don't think we're that far out of reach, are we?
I think we are.
I think
I think it's bad.
I know we are bad, but I think out of any team we've got for the rest of the year, Melbourne is Melbourne or. And the last thing I wanted to bring up, I was thinking about this before. Doc's farewell is that sort of fairy tale is sort of giving me Michael Hurley with Essendon. You know, when he had his was it 2023 where he played his last game?
I don't remember.
No,
But what's the
I think it was
relation?
2023. He played his last game.
But what's
against,
the relation? Sorry, I'm missing the point.
No, I just see tortured, not tortured, but on just the relation, like good club servant, if that makes sense. Hasn't found too much success apart from glimpses, if you get what I mean.
Okay, yeah. Look, Doc's been a warrior for the club. He's gone through more than what most do in life, and the fact that he's playing footy to the level that he's played, and the fact that he's even come back and played is a miracle. But I think maybe it just could be time. So
yeah.
Kobe, appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts, though. No worries, mate.
Good to get on as always.
See you, mate.
We keep supporting every single week. So
go Blues.
Go Blues.
Damien, Paul's headphones are as effective as Carlton's forward line. the connection between me and Paul's internet was like our mid forward connection tonight. Tony, hello, Tony.
G'day, mate. G'day, mate. How are
Yeah, I'm well.
you?
How you doing?
How you traveling? Oh, fuck. It's hard work, isn't it? It's fucking hard work. Oh.
Oh man, you just made my night.
How's me coming on? How's me coming on positive a few weeks ago? And now it's just like, fuck.
Nah, fuck it, man.
Oh my god. Do you know what the thing about tonight? Sort of, I hope they kind of get into their head now. Okay, there's no more mathematics or any of that shit that says they're going to make finals. Let's start looking to 26 and beyond, and actually start looking at who's actually going to be there and play them and see what they can do.
Man, I'm again, I said it earlier in the show. I don't want to like fear monger, but tonight, I watched tonight, and I've watched the last month, and I'm looking at these players, and I'm genuinely like scared that I think it's not going to be just a few tinkers. I think we might get like mass exodus. I think something's really rotten. That's like, which we've all been, conspiring to figure out what it is. I really have a fear in the depths of my soul that they're going to want out a lot of them. And yeah, I don't know. I feel it the first time.
Something stinks to high heaven there. Like, it really is bad.
Like even like, I get it, we're shit, but like even the joy of playing football is gone from them. They don't love playing football for the love of the sport anymore.
No, it's actually become a chore rather than what their dream was at some point. It's fuck. Like, and you know yourself, like if you've worked in an environment where you get up and you're like, oh my God, I've got to go today. It's like, fuck, what do I do? And I'd say that's where it is at the moment. And like, I can't have it that it's just all on a few individuals. It's a whole culture thing there. It's from the top down. It's just unbelievable. Like, it just reeks to high heaven. Like, I think, if you had asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said they'll keep Voss.
Yeah.
And I still tend to think they might, and they might just hedge their bets and go, you know what, we'll give him one last year, see out his contract, and surround him with some people and see how it goes. But shit, a lot of that's not on Voss either. I mean, I made a comment earlier on, like, some of these blokes, I'm surprised they're fathers because they can't even hit a fucking target. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, oh, that's unbelievable.
They can't hit a target, but they had baby. They created a baby. Yeah. Well, to be fair, they're shooting thousands of shots, only for one that is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good. That's very, very good.
I mean, look, the positives that I took out of tonight, if there was many, but I enjoyed seeing. I really did enjoy seeing the young blokes like Moya really showed some glimpses, which was good, and people ask me, what do you think about him? And he's just got it. Whatever it is, I think he's got it. There was effort there, there was enthusiasm, even though there was things went against him a couple of times, he perked up. So that was good to see that. Carroll in the back line, I mean, shame on the older blokes for not using their voice and directing him and even putting their arm around him going, mate, that's fine. Or even just the bench going, get him off, have a reset, have a breather, and have a breather.
Exactly.
So to me, it's those sorts of moments where you'd like to see the coach then go down to the bench and go, right, young fella, this is, don't worry, next contest. But instead they leave him out there. It's a bit like when, the NBA, right? If you watch the NBA, when the team gets a run on, coach calls a timeout and says, right, boys, reset. It's the same concept. But yeah, it's going to be a real, like, I don't know how much you follow the trade period at the end of it. I sit there listening to trade radio, and I'll tell you what, she's going to be a sizzling one this year for Carlton.
Well, last year was pretty was pretty active. Given we obviously made the trade for pick 3 and Always and Kennedy, and it was the first year that I remember doing the channel that off season was that popular, and I think the off season will be even more busy. And I don't know, man. Like I just see irreversible damage out there.
Yep.
Like you can't just lose your love for the game and then just find it with a few tinkers to the list, or maybe you can.
Well, look, one thing I do know about footy, it can turn really quick, and I think, look, it's hard for people to probably take the emotion out of it, but there is a nucleus there, and look, that a lot of these blokes are at their peak, right? So I think it's really trying to bring our bottom players up, and I think, look, there is quite a few blokes that do need to be moved on. They do have to make that Chris Scott type call and go, hey, you've been a great servant, but it is time. And, look, even with TDK, this whole TDK thing, what everyone seems to fail is, look, he's probably been offered that money, but at this stage, it is just an offer. Like, it's got to get ratified by the St Kilda board. Do you know what I mean? So, and I was thinking about it before. I genuinely believe he's wrestling with this. He's really wrestling with this, because if you think about players in the past, your Dangerfields and even Buddy, they were gone. They'd made the decision in their mind, they were going, and they were playing well. They were clear in their mind of what they were going to do. I think he's just playing really conflicted.
Yeah. You think he genuinely hasn't made his mind up yet?
I believe so.
Fair.
And it's funny. Last time I was telling you about, I bumped into an ex-premiership player, same player again. I spoke to him 2 weeks ago and I said, do you reckon he's going? He goes, honestly, I'm 50-50 that whether he's actually going or not. He has not made a decision. And at this stage, the offer's not even on paper. It's still going to get ratified by the board and everything. So he definitely wants to stay at the club, but the gap is a bit high. But the other thing too is Brian Cook apparently came out in a general meeting or something and said to fans and whatnot when they quizzed him about it, and he said, we've offered him 1.1, we're not budging. Like, that's it. Like, there is no more. We've got to pay everybody else. So it's, yeah.
I think I said this a few weeks ago. I'd be really concerned. Like, 1.7 is not our problem. We're never going to pay that.
No, that's right.
But we're about to give out another $1 million contract to a player on potential.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're $1 million player, you can't be having more than 4 to maybe 5 like average games. Like, you have to be performing. Like, the margin for error is just too much, and we've got so many of them out there right now, even tonight, and they're broke. They're just struggling.
Well, the bit that astounds me is, like, and comes down to poor list management. Who in their right mind decided to give Chera another 5 years last year off the back of having 2 injury seasons? And not only that, I mean, he's a very nice footballer. He'll get you your 30 touches a game, but he doesn't impact a game.
I don't know if he is on as big a deal as what we would be concerned about, though, because it's got a bit more long term to it.
Yeah, okay. So they might have actually just stretched it out over the years and softened the money in between. Yeah, okay.
Kind of like Pitto, right? Like, Pitto's not on a high salary, but it's long term. You know, it was all 4 years, whatever it was. And now it's looking like a genius move because at least there's a backup there. And that's a value contract. I think Hewitt's another one, value contract. Like, there's a couple of good ones, there's a couple of really bad ones.
Yeah.
There's a mix. There's a mix of it there. There's no doubt.
I'd say probably well, it probably begs the question. Where do you think, say, for example, Walter's at the moment? Like, do you think he's going to be a genuine chance to be moved on?
Honestly, I am ready for anything.
Yeah.
At this point, I've completely detached. At some point over the last 2 to 3 years, maybe it comes with age, and because I'm just getting older now, and I get older than now, I'm officially older than every player on the list. I'm just not attached to this fairy tale that the boys from the 2015 draft are going to lift up the cup, because that's what I was hoping Murphy would do, and that's what I was hoping Simo would do. I was also hoping that Doc would lift up the cup one day, and Cripps as well.
Yeah.
These players will come and go. And yeah, Cripps does deserve to hold up a cup, but he's also been rewarded very handsomely, and he's set up for life. So,
absolutely. This to me it sort of reeks of that clean out that, and I know we don't want to use him as a messiah, but he does have the runs on the board. Graham Wright, when he came in, moved Treloar out, Grundy, Jaden Stevenson as well. And, I remember sitting there in that trade period going, what the fuck is going on at Collingwood? And then he gave Buckley his sort of, respectful marching orders. And then look what happened, which makes me sick to my core.
Yeah.
The
life and times of being a Carlton supporter.
Yeah, and you know what's going to make me even more sick? I have to take my son to the bloody Essendon and Richmond game because he's an Essendon supporter, and put a fucking beanie on as well, just to be a good parent. I mean, this weekend just gets no better for me. Honestly.
Well, you have to put an Essendon beanie on?
Oh, of course, because I have to be a supportive parent. The shit you have to go through.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I've contemplated, I'm like, nah, I think my kids one day they'll just definitely be Carlton supporters. And then I've genuinely thought maybe I should break the generational curse. Like, mum really stitched me up. Like, I love my mum to death, right? And she stitched me up a treat with this Carlton stuff.
Yeah. Well, funny that my mum's North Melbourne and my brother is like mad North Melbourne, and he says this has been a bright fucking stitch up. So, yeah.
Whatever.
So,
Tony, I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, mate. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, mate. Stick fat.
Go Blues.
Go Blues. See you, mate.
See ya. Oh, that was so good. Michael, Harry O'Farrell with the preseason and 10 kilos of muscle is a definite prospect that we can bank on, as he seems to have something to him. Yeah, when you throw some of these kids into the deep end, it is nice to see them show some signs. And I thought Harry O'Farrell did that. Stephen Dunlop, you're a sick puppy, mate. Booked flights, accommodation, and tickets for next week's game last night. Why do I do this to myself? Fair enough. Rocket.
Terry, how are you, mate? It's
mate.
Nice to speak to you. I haven't spoken to you in 3 years, I reckon. So
is that the last time you called in?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was at the end of the Teague era, to be honest. So here we are again. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you for guiding us through this grieving process. Genuinely, really appreciate you stepping up, particularly over the last couple of weeks. It's been pretty brutal, hasn't it? So,
no, my pleasure, mate. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. So I went along tonight. I have to say the train on the way home was excellent. Like, the faithful that were there. There was a little bit of an element of going tonight that was like, let's go and represent the Carlton body in a positive way, off the back of the death threats and all the rest of it, and the narrative, and like the whole narrative has just been so shit for the last few weeks. And so it was nice to find out that was a Collingwood supporter and all the rest of it, but I only found that out at the game. But it was like the chat was going around at the game, so that was good. And then in the train in the way back, it was just like the blue believers, just sort of looking at each other and smiling, really. And there was this woman there who had like this 10-month-old baby, like in like the holster at the front, and she was like, I didn't really like sport growing up, but then when I got pregnant, I just got like mad for it, and like my friends really liked Carlton when I was a kid, so like I just went bananas for it, and I've just been going every week. And the kid was like in this navy blue like jumper that she knitted for him. He's like 10 months old. And I was just like, fucking hell, like you couldn't have seriously, like you could not have had a worse year. And this kid, like what is he going to see in that lifetime? Is this St Kilda or is this Hawthorn for this kid? Like who knows, right? So it was interesting, and she'd brought her American sister-in-law along for her first game, and she was like, it's pretty quiet. Like anyway, we had Pitnet. That was probably the highlight of the season. I would have thought the goal after the siren after the first quarter, like that, like it probably was the highlight of the season, to be honest. And then and the game was just like every other game this year, like right down to really kind of losing our mojo after half time and everything. It's funny. And then just watched before turning on to you, mate. Just Voss's press conference, and it's like need to focus in on the things that we value. Like we'll focus in on the things that we value. I can tell you what they are, Vossy. We really value like a win would be great, consistent effort, pressure at the ball, being able to hit a target, um, you know, these are the things that we value, mate. So yes, I felt like the things that he was saying last week and the week before were kind of the things that he needed to be saying at halftime at Richmond, to be honest,
There was
And look, I
somebody.
respect the man, and I'm really sorry with the way it's played out this year. But I just it's had 4 years at it, and I can't, in all faith and all honesty, think that sticking fat is going to result in a different conclusion. To be honest. Anyway,
What do you think
Tom,
they're scared of in terms of the truth?
I think that our
Because they're dancing
leadership.
around it, right? Like it's pretty clear that they're dancing around it, maybe because they have to wait until the end of the year until they can really expose what's going on. But what's the fear?
Yeah, no, I said it to my mate last week. I mean, at least in the Elliott days, we would have had change this week. um, um, I think we've sort of become a caricature of ourselves in terms of changing coaches willy nilly, but this is not willy nilly. This coaching group has had 4 years at it, right? And we've seen our entire group go backwards this year, like truly regress. Like, try to think of one player that has shown improvement this year. Like that is an indictment on the coaching group, and in a very competitive industry, and you have to be judged by that. So we can stick fat, but I think if we stick fat, we're just sticking fat for another year. And like to me, I really respect Voss as a man and very much as a player. But I don't think he's the solution, if I'm honest. So I think we need a change. I think we need circuit breakers right now, because right now is such a painful time to be a Carlton supporter. Like we go along every week. I mean, next week will be interesting. Us in Melbourne. We are exactly the same teams. Strong in the middle, can't kick forward to targets. A couple of good defenders. Like it will be pretty interesting to watch. Tonight was hilarious. It was such a hilarious game of football. It was like so unique. It was like watching a comedy scene, and like what has it become? We were meant to be contenders,
Rocket, can I
and
ask you just something? I just want to get you remember pretty clearly the Elliott days, right?
yeah. I
Okay.
used to sit in the Elliott stand every day, and I don't want to bring it up because I know that the last
No, I know.
time I
I
did, and I
understand that.
heard you say Six Flags 5 spoons, and that is I have made my daughters live through that, by the way,
Yeah.
too. So
No,
I
it's
feel for you, mate.
I understand that part. So what I wanted to ask is something that I've thought of too. So we're clearly, in my view anyway, maybe you can agree or disagree. We're clearly at this point in time where the identity of the club is determined depending on who you speak to, based on what they've seen at this club. So what I've experienced is nothing short of a completely dysfunctional, quite frankly, a circus of an organization. Failure after failure after poor decision, ego, idiot, fools, corporate suits, just complete failure, right? It doesn't represent this excellence and, whatever. You saw the great mighty Carlton Football Club and the Elliott era. What is the balance of, you don't want to lose exactly what you are as you move forward, but at the end of the day, we've got to move forward into this new world. So what do you think is the balance of how much do we have to bring from what used to be to what is now?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think we were ruthless in our winning culture. Now it's hard to compare apples with oranges because
Fair.
we were in the position to buy success, I suppose.
Right.
What we've done, I think, over the last 15 years is prioritize corporate and off-field success as opposed to the attitude that we need to bring to the field, right?
Right.
But it was ruthless in terms of being able, like we saw it. But look, what we had because of the checkbook element, I suppose, was we had a steady stream of really, really good players, but we have that now. We have that in Cripps and Curnow and McKay and Wiedering and the first draft picks, What we also had was the Paul Meldrums and the Peter Deans and the guys that walked in off the street that brought a ruthless approach to winning. And you look at the team that we played today, they've got a bunch of young kids who are superstars, who are not necessarily any more highly credentialed than our young kids, but they have confidence and they're playing around leaders with confidence and so forth. And we had that confidence 2 years ago. So that's the intangible. That's the culture. So there's no doubt there was a culture of success, and
it was all about football, right?
I don't think we can compare it because we
It's a
can't
different
buy
world.
players.
It's a different world, and there's new rules as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So why do we still hold on to that older era as if it's a part of the fabric of what is needed to move forward?
Well, for a
If
start,
we
it was the
can't
last
have
time
that.
we had success,
Fair.
But also, this is something that I've thought about watching your channel. That if I was on, I would say, and I reckon I was like 23 when we won 95, and it was a great night on Lygon Street, absolutely brilliant. But my main takeaway from that was that the honeymoon lasts for like a day. You live for it. It's everything, and so. But like, it's within a day, a week, a month, or so forth. You're the premiers for a year, but everyone's catching up and moving. We didn't win 96. We didn't get close to it. So the glory that you're reaching for is so fleeting that really what you're looking for is a culture of continued sustained success. And like Vossi spoke to that tonight and during this week. That's what we're all working for. He understands that better than anyone. He's a triple premiership captain that won it 3 years in a row. So he gets it. But by God, we are not bringing the noise that is going to deliver anything like that. And how did it get so wrong? How did we go from the Melbourne, semi-final to where we are today. I mean, I was saying to my mate today, he was a Brisbane fan, and we were talking about the fact that we were 5 goals up against them at quarter time in that preliminary final, and it's literally gone to shit since. And how can we not get back the magic? And even in that time, it took the camp and the 14 wins in a row and whatever. So it speaks to what you're speaking to, like the culture behind it all, right? Like the attitude of the club. Look, I want to make this point. Like I really feel like our leaders have let us down.
Yeah.
Really, I feel like we have overpaid, comfortable leaders on the field who are not prepared to turn it around when times get tough. I feel like our leaders are too soft. I love Patrick Cripps. I think that if Patrick Cripps had held the cup up, he probably could have been the most successful player in Carlton's history. But I actually think that he has foregone the chance to captain our club going forward because of where we are now and what's happened over the last couple of years. You know, I think one of the things that Graham Wright will do is change the captaincy and change that off-field leadership setup. You know, we've seen Sam Walsh go backwards. You know, he was incredible, and we've seen him go backwards. We've seen Wiedering go into his shell. You know, all of this on-field leadership group are just too insular, self-motivated, whatever. I don't know who the players out there. Is it Sauce that could be our captain, right? Is it Nick Newman who needs to be our captain? Like, I mean, this is where I think Graham Wright really needs to show his mettle. If you look at that 2000 and whatever Collingwood premiership, who was that halfback flanker that was their captain back in 2012, 2013, 2014? That came from left field, right?
Yeah.
Maxwell, exactly, right? So I would love to see Cripps be deshackled from all of this and just go out and be the best version of himself that he can be as a player, win a third Brownlow. I would love that. But whatever this is, it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Rocket, that has been bloody fantastic.
Yeah, it's great to chat to you, and I just do want to reiterate the fact that I really appreciate what you do. I saw you really struggling like over the last couple of weeks, but
the short turnarounds are a fucking disaster. I'm so happy that we have an 8-day break. I can't tell you, just any chance where there's just an extra 24 hours in there, I'm so excited. But we'll get
and
there.
I thought it was Hawthorn next Thursday night, and I was just like, when will it end? And then someone said to me, no, it's Melbourne on Saturday night.
Well, it's Melbourne, and then 5 days later it's Hawthorn. So we've got like another jam-packed thing there. But between now and next Saturday, I'm just gonna, just be a human being. So, mate, thanks for calling in.
Right. Good on you, mate. Appreciate you.
See
Take
ya.
care.
Mark is here.
Terry, what was that recent caller's name? Sorry,
That was Rocket.
best fan cam of the night so far.
One of the
Probably.
it was. I couldn't get enough. It was brilliant.
No, I just wanted to literally reiterate that. Mate, just rocket it to the skies then. Pretty spot on. Very spot on. The biggest keyword, deflating as of late. Now, the margin you could probably say again was deflating, but I'll give you the biggest deflating point of the night. The crowd attendance. 32,898. That got me. I was like with my mate, best mate tonight, who was a Brisbane supporter. And mind you, they had a bit of a cheer squad up the top in the wing of level 2. And they eventually had to silence them down because they were acting like, buffoons. But anyways, it is what it is. But your thought as far as, the attendance of the crowd tonight, because I was thinking, it's a shoo-in that it'd be less than 30,000. But when I saw that figure, I'm like, oh, wow,
I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to even get to 32. I thought we'd be seeing 27, 28 tonight. But
I would have thought so.
Yeah, so just a sign of where we're at. It's also Thursday night. Not surprised.
Oh, well, look, Thursday night, I get that. I think it was just more surprising that it was over 30, considering how broken we are and Brisbane just on their merry way at the moment. You know, pretty much either them or Geelong, which sadly I'm sick of having to say this. Don't want to rely on other clubs for our own misfortunes of trying to deny the filth at unprecedented 17, but here we are. But anyways, as far as the players for tonight, you know what? Props to Harry O'Farrell. Good to obviously have a nice game for his third game. Obviously, you know, and really copped in the first two. The Giants in Toby Green's 250th, and obviously, you know, Collingwood. But no, kudos to him tonight. I thought he actually had a very decent game. Moya had his moments as well. Would have loved him to obviously have one or two goals to his name as well. I thought he obviously tried to cover as much ground as he did. Charlie did have an okay first half, and then the rest down south. Sorry. I mean, seriously, I reckon Pinneck could have tried that 1,000 times, and I don't know how it went through. Fuck, he was on the piss. He must have had a puffer in his mouth by having to kick that.
Amen.
That was funny.
I think the fact that it came after the quarter time siren meant that we got to just sit with a little bit of joy for a moment, and then the second quarter started. I remember turning around thinking and saying, watch Brisbane just walk in a goal, first centre bounce here. And I think there was a repeat stoppage from the first centre bounce start of quarter two. And then, sure enough, they isolated. I think it was Charlie Cameron maybe on Mitch McGovern. And yeah, away we went.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Pinder kicked more goals tonight than what Charlie has in the last month.
What's that about? Like, I understand a guy can be out of form, a down patch. Has Charlie got the yips? Is that what this is?
I mean, where do I start? I mean, calf tightness when he got subbed out early in the West Coast game, but he was okay to ride a bike. It was okay to ride a bike to the North Melbourne game. Oh, it's only North Melbourne. But then I know people in regular jobs that are on 150K a year, and he got beaten by a 150K man. And then obviously the rest of it's gone down south there. Money doesn't always buy you happiness, man. Like, at the end of the day,
it's true.
You've still got to obviously put in the work regardless. Doesn't matter if it's like, you know, me on only 80 to 100, less than that, whatever. The point is, right, you got to show the same intent regardless of your price tag, period. And just shout out to Nick Webb, who obviously has made a lot of headlines as far as berating Blake Acres. Well, I want to have my bake on Tom DeConning, because that bloke couldn't care any less as well tonight. How that man had started the year to where he's been now in the last 5-6 weeks. I think probably maybe the Essendon game at best, post-bye, was probably his best. And since then, he looks a lost soul. He seriously looks a lost soul. And then I was actually looking back thinking, oh, how many games has he played? I'm like, no. Has he played 100? I'm like, surely. No. But I think he'd be on 94. So it actually got me thinking. And I think someone might have said it earlier. Are we going to somehow drag him to 100 and then he could ship off? Or do we basically deny him of getting in 100 so that we don't have that prospect of having a potential, well, father, son, let alone daughter of a DeConning of his own? Because, hey, he was pretty happy and stoked when Sam obviously won the flag in 2022. But sadly, that bloke is more worried about this, where should be more what you want on your neck. So, bugging me with his injury, dude, man. What is with the players' mindset of that? Hey, think of this, Terry, right?
Yeah.
And here's the real chat. In 3 hours' time, I got to work, yeah? But hey, what's to not say I have a quick nap and I may not wake up? These things do happen when you least expect it. I know it's not a good sign, but my point is, Tom, right? At least your brother will be remembered as a premiership player, but you just worrying about monopoly money of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million. What is it? It's the rush hour for him. Might as well call it Rush Hour 4 starring TDK. Insanity.
Yeah, look,
Insanity.
it's the biggest decision of Tom's career, and we don't get a say in it. I don't think we have the right to have such a say in it. The club has a right to make a decision as to how they deal with it, but mate, the guy's being offered life-changing opportunity potentially.
Oh,
It is what it
mate,
is.
Mate, of course, everybody would be licking their lips for it, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, you bloody want to be worth it to earn it. I mean,
Well, that's for Tom. That's something that
yeah,
yeah. So anyway, mate, what else? You ready for the next 6 weeks before the big clean out?
I mean, what happens if you made a statement and let's say, oh, I'm not going to do the rest of the fan camps for the rest of the year? What would happen? What would happen? I just thought I'd ask.
Well, it's not going to happen. So I don't know why.
Hey, I throw it out there.
Yeah,
we all throw things out there, but
no, I mean you can ask the question. No, I mean this is what I do. This is what it is. This is part of my job. I got a job to do, you know.
part
But
of
I
the
chose.
journey.
Sorry, I chose. I choose to do it. I don't have to do it. I choose to do it.
For love.
Yeah, I get to do it. It's a privilege.
Reminds me of those journey documentaries way, way back when it was all started under bolts. It's all part of the journey. It's all fucking part of the journey.
It is, mate.
Oh,
It
here
is.
we go again. Seriously.
Anyway,
Melbourne
mate.
next week. Melbourne next week. Wow. The 2023 semi-final rematch, but then of course
Don't
it's Zach
even do it though. We'll be wearing the white Guernseys as well. Akers might come back into the team.
No, you know what? Maybe straight swap Akers in, but TDK out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Mark,
6
mate.
more weeks, huh?
6 more weeks, my friend. 6 more weeks. Thank you very much for calling in. Get some sleep. You got to work soon.
Oh, don't worry. You know what? I think these players would kill to actually be in my position because you know what? Putting in the ground in work, 4 in the morning or 3, 2, you know what? It's all good and roses, you know, earning those big bucks for just a game of footy. But the hardships that we have to go through just to survive day in, day out,
Yeah.
just understand that.
That's it. That's an
Oh, don't worry.
important point.
I'll be right. I'll be right. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll be right. I won't.
Good on you. Thanks, Mark.
Done. Bye.
See you, mate. Only Carlton.
Hey, Terry. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? Where are you?
I'm in my car. I just got home.
Oh, you got like the blue neon lights in the car.
That's right.
Love that.
I don't know, man. I'm not even upset.
Nah.
I ended up going to the game last second. I'm not even upset.
Yeah. How do you watch it? I mean, like the mistakes we all get frustrated. But like, I was laughing tonight.
Yeah, same. 100% same. Like, it's kind of just like, I know what's going to happen, but I go I go to the game knowing that it's going to happen, right? Like, I know we're probably not going to show. We're probably going to lose by 30. And then it used to be rage before in the season, right? Like, you got like the Collingwood game even last week. But now it's just like, what do I expect? I'm the fucking idiot. It's not anyone else. It's me, right? Like, I'm expecting these guys to go out and show a response, which they've proven for the last 4 weeks they're not going to do, right? Whether they don't have it in them, whether they're just not good enough, I don't know. But they're not going to do it, right? But for some reason, me and a lot of other people just keep continuing to go to games with just that slight hope, right? How do you feel going into the game?
So knew we were losing, braced for a loss. Can't remember who was in the game day stream today saying, "This is it. The Phoenix will rise from the ashes tonight." I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I left at 3/4 time. First, like
Really?
proper. Yeah, I left at 3/4 time, and I watched on my phone, and walked to the train, got on the train, and then I think we might have kicked the first 2 or 3 goals of the fourth quarter, and
Yeah.
not gonna lie, my heart sunk. Not gonna lie, my heart sunk. I was like, "You're fucking kidding me!" But obviously, it just turned out the way it was.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. Like you can't. I refuse to let it get to me to the point where I'm just yelling and screaming. And I watched this week. I watched the 2021 compilation, and I watched you'll get this one day. Like when you look back at your content. Ever look back at like old photos of yourself and like you just want to like punch yourself?
Yeah.
Like so like I feel that, but also that's a good thing. It means that like, okay, I guess I've evolved. But I was watching the 2021 compilation. I'm like, oh wow, like I just had no clue how to really hold on to staying calm. Whereas this time, like it's cooked. You just kind of got to accept it, not accept the standards that have dipped and like demand more and all of that. But like, what are we gonna do? We can't control what happens on the field. We think we can, but we can't.
No. And like being angry, we've tried being angry, right? Like we've had people go and vandalize the club. Some fucking idiot sent Boss a death threat, which ended up being a Collingwood supporter. But I mean, the fan base has been angry, and clearly nothing's changing, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there was so many, like, I don't know, like, this is so weird for me. I've never been like, I'm not happy, but I'm like at peace with the loss.
I'm at peace with where we're at, but I'll tell you what I did feel tonight. For the first time, like, oh, I think we're going to get a player exodus.
Yeah.
I think some of these players have lost their love for the game.
Yeah. Have you got anyone in mind? You want to name a name?
I don't know if Charlie loves playing footy at the moment.
Thank you. I wanted you to say his name so bad. I
don't know if
fucking
he
hate
loves
Charlie
playing.
Curnow.
No, you
saying-
don't.
I hate what he's become. I hate how the way he conducts himself in this season, right?
Yeah.
The way like from where he was, bro. He was like, I used to have posters of Charlie in my wall, right?
Mm.
And to see where he is now it breaks my heart. It really does. But he's done it to himself.
It's a bit of everyone. It's the club. It's the environment. It's I don't know. He was the source of energy of the team, and no matter what, he was never not kicking a goal in a game.
Yeah.
And I reckon when he had the game taken away from him, like that was really rough. And there was a period of time there where we thought, gee, are we ever going to see Charlie play again, let alone at a high level? And he came back and, he took pride in every single game he was out there. And we've seen him play with the energy and the passion. Maybe it's just the surgeries in the preseason, but I don't know, man. There's something soulless about the way he's going about it. And I don't know if he's just lost the love for the game or for the club or for a bit of both. But I really fear because he's this. Maybe I'm doing the Messiah thing again when I say he's the spiritual source of the group, but I really do feel that.
No, he definitely is. He definitely was, right? Like you look at this is like a buzzword, but you look at 2023, he was the biggest part of that season, right? Without him, we don't go on that run. And I strongly believe, right? The way and because I watch, obviously I make edits, right? I have every single goal highlight from the last 3 years, right? The raw when he used to kick goals, the aura he used to have, like there hasn't been a player since for us that we've got behind like that.
No,
and I don't think there will be. Like honestly, I don't think. Maybe there will be but there won't be one soon, right? The way he just like defenders used to look at him like genuinely, they used to look at him with fear, right? Like if they were one-on-one with him, they would hold him, they would drag him, and either he would like run and jump and mark it, or he would get a free kick. But most of the time, he would mark it. Like, And to see where he is now, like, it's just so disappointing because it's not skill, the talent's there, it's just effort. It's just effort. And like you said, it's not all on him, right?
It's not all.
But
No, it's not. It's not on him. I mean, Cripps always finds a way to get that minimum standard.
yeah.
Like Wiedering, I do feel for them. I really do feel for them, and I just hope that it's not my deepest fear of the players now just don't want to be here.
Yeah. How disappointing would that be if some of them request a move or request a trade? Like, can you imagine if Charlie kind of comes out and says, "I don't want to play for Carlton" at the end of this year?
Hope not.
Yeah. Like, and I want to go back to your point, right? Like when he came back from surgery back in 2022. Do you think that premierships motivate him, or do you think it was when he came back, right, because he missed so much footy, and he kind of came back and he felt like he had something to prove, not to other people, but more to himself, that he can play footy to the highest level, and he got those back-to-back Colemans, right? So he kind of reached the top of the mountain in terms of individual success, right? No one's done it in like, what, 80 years since him? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that at the end of last year, when he was so close in the Coleman race, and then he obviously got injured, right? A lot of people think last year's Coleman should have been him if he played those games. Do you think it kind of dismotivated him, disencouraged him, and he kind of just he's like, all right, I've done it all, you know? There's no really.
I felt like he was ready to step away from the individual stuff. He didn't need to prove himself because I think at some point every player in the league has to prove themselves as an individual to an extent. Like whether you get your first All-Australian blazer, like you kind of want to gain the respect of your peers in the standing of the game, and then eventually it turns into, okay, well, now it's about team success.
Do you think he values team success?
I don't know. I hope so. I just think something's rotten. Something's rotten. Something's happened, and it's just on them. It's all over them.
Yeah. You can see it as well. We don't really play like a team. Like we leave some of our younger kids just out to die, like just out in the middle of some contest. We just don't support them at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's worrying. That really is. Like, I get okay, if you're this motivated, but it's a young kid. Like, Farrell's playing his third game, and he had a great game. Good on him, bro. Like, really, I was really impressed with him. But some contests, man, like we just didn't support him. Like Matty Carroll as well. He's played his 10th AFL game. There were so many times where no one really supported him. And he gave away 5 goals himself as well. But a lot of that could have been avoided if he just had support, or if he had some guidance from the leaders around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just didn't get it. Just didn't get it.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, we've got, I think it's 8 days until Melbourne at the MCG, and then it's a crammed Saturday into Thursday, which is just torturous at this point. The idea of playing, I think just any game at this point is torturous.
Yeah. All right. How do you look at the season, right? What do you want from the rest of the season? Because I'm struggling to figure out what I want.
I want it to end. Honestly, I wanted to end. I love the footy more than anything. This has been an unbelievable test of faith, belief, support, but then also having to understand when you see it for what it is and how you accept it and the stages of that. And then also the whole test of trying to keep you cool with all of it and trying to keep perspective. It's a game. It's a fantasy. This whole sport was made up because a bunch of people sat around some table and said, okay, let's just, if you kick here and 15 or more meters, it's a mark. It is all just a game. So the balance of all of that this year's been a real test. Yeah.
Yeah.
You?
I don't know. That's why I asked you. I don't know what I want. I just find myself just focusing on it 1 week at a time, right? But the season's ending in 6 weeks, and we keep losing. We're not improving, right? Actually, I want to shout out Carlton, right? Because I don't know if you remember, but normally I come on here and I complain that we win all the stats and we end up losing, like we win inside 50s, we win contested. Tonight we actually lost all the stats and we lost the ball. So at least, Carlton, they're becoming consistent in something. At least they're losing in a way that makes sense now.
Yeah.
So I don't
It's
know.
just so hard to like what I mean, I'm watching them with a different gloss now in my eyes. At the start of the year, I thought, and last year as well, I'm like, wow, this group, like they've matured and they're connected and we're in the top 4 for a big part of the year. And then I started this year, I thought, yeah, like we'll just regroup and go again. And like it's so rapidly gone from, yeah, they're going to be good enough to be at the top. And even Sam Mitchell after Hawthorn the first time said, we know Carlton will be there at the end. I remember that comment sticking with me. Like, okay, even the opposition coaches like know and they respect what Carlton can do. And then now I'm watching them and they just like the team's washed.
Yeah. Do you think we bought into our own hype a bit too much?
Yeah.
And we just didn't evolve. Like we didn't try to evolve. We just thought our style, our system is hard. Our players are hard. We don't have to evolve. We are like the benchmark of that certain style. And then now teams have figured us out. And we didn't make an effort to evolve.
I think the game style works when the team buys into it.
Yeah.
And something has prevented this team from buying into each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be just as simple as whatever's been happening with like Harry and Elijah, for example. Maybe something like that creates a tiny ripple, which becomes something else.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well, like right now, you and I are speculating, and that doesn't help either.
Yeah, 100%.
We want answers. We put things out there into the ether, and that doesn't help either. So we've got to be mindful of that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I always say like we don't know what's going on. We can sit here and talk for hours. Certain experts can be on here and talk for hours, but we're not in those 4 walls. You know what I mean? We don't know what's going on. Like we can say, Voss has lost the players, but maybe I don't know, man. Maybe he has full control of the players. Maybe this is the best he can coach. Maybe it isn't. We don't know, right? So
maybe we just got the list wrong.
Maybe we're just not that good. Maybe
Maybe
we are
we're just not that good. Maybe this club is not this mighty thing. Actually, no. I know for a fact now, this mighty Carlton Football Club was something that was passed down to us by other people who experienced it when it was mighty, and we projected it into this world of today when it's not that.
Yeah. I was talking to someone earlier today, and she's actually a really good friend of mine. And I was saying, like, when people talk about Carlton, especially the older supporters, they talk about them like, the 16 premierships, the powerhouse. Bro, I've been watching since 2014. I just think we're shit. I don't see us as like this big powerhouse club, destination club. I see us as like the Brendan Bolter era. That's how I know Carlton.
It's the only Carlton I know. Yeah.
That's it. So like, I don't know if like our expectations are so high because a lot of us are stuck in the past. But then again, like there's a lot of us that didn't see the 95 grand final. Like you didn't, right? You've also grown up with Carlton just being shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't think it's that, but maybe it's like a little bit of noise and then the arrogance that we all have, right? It's a Carlton thing. Right? We get a little bit good. We get like that semi-final. I thought we're the best team in the AFL and we're gonna win the next 5 flags. I'm like, who the fuck is gonna beat us? And then everyone beat us. We started this year 0-4. But
yeah,
you can trace it back, right, to that GWS game last year. That Giants game when we were up by like 7 goals or 8 goals at quarter time, and then they just came back.
What was the game after that?
I don't know, but it was also a loss. It might have been Cripps' 200th, the Bulldogs game.
The Doggies game?
I think, yeah.
See, the Giants game, like obviously there was a collapse, up 38, lose, like sure. But that had come after, I think, a nice 5-game stretch. I think we played Richmond the week before, beat them by 10 goals, and then Geelong the week before, beat them by 10 goals.
Yep.
And we'll
that
maybe
was like the start of our downfall. This game, yeah.
Yeah. But that Doggies game at Marvel, Cripps' 200, that was they just had to win that game. Whatever, man. Whatever.
Look, I guess it's in the past, right? So it doesn't matter. Different year last year, but like you'd think like some of these players do carry some emotional damage, especially from round one this year, right? They like you come out, you have like Crips coming like, oh, it'd be nice to belt him. You know, they belted me a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then you go out and lose when you're up by 40. Like that has to do some damage to the club, right? You would
Surely.
think, especially, yeah. Like there's a lot of people that wrote us off after round one. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll publicly say it. I laughed. I'm like, come on, guys, come on, can't be that bad. It's a mulligan. How wrong I was. How wrong I was.
Bro, what do you mean? I did my season preview this year. Season preview, I felt a darkness coming. I remember saying it. And then I still did my ladder predictor for the year and said, yeah, I can see 16 wins. Even though I felt deep down that there was darkness coming, but I still went with, 16 wins.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We don't know. What's your thoughts on Tom DeConey?
It's really sad to see him play the way he is with the lack of spirit.
Yeah.
And that intensity could compete.
Yeah. No, 100%. He ever since the contract talks became public and they became big, he's fallen off hard, right? And I don't blame him for that because it is a really big decision for him, right? Being that young, you're deciding between pretty much $5 million over another 5 or 6 years, right? It's a big deal. But man, you got to decide. You have to. You can't come out and be like, oh, I'm going to focus on my football and I'm not going to let it affect my football. We're not idiots, bro. Why are you lying to us? It's going to affect your football because it's a big decision and you're young. Don't come out and patronize us and be like, nah, I'll focus on football. You know, this club is my priority. I'm not doubting that it's his number one priority, but I'm just saying it's clearly like it's clearly taken a toll on him, right? And I do feel bad to an extent, but I feel like if you haven't made a decision by now, you're not going to make one. You're not going to stay, and you get out now, and we will respect you way more. I would have so much more respect for him.
Yeah, I don't know. This might be hard to hear, but none of us fans have the right to think that he should or shouldn't do something. Like it's his call.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Like, and I know that from a club's point of view, like you're saying, okay, well, make the call one way or another, so we know. I don't know. Like this is like very few people get such offers to play football in the world, or any. And we just have to deal with it. We dealt with it with Cripps, but however, Cripps I reckon signed in July 2021. Patrick Cripps.
It was just.
I remember the meltdowns here on these fan cams 2021 because he hadn't signed, and we were going through the external review. Attention, 2021. I'll tell you when it was now. Okay, it was a little earlier. It was the 25th of June, 2021. So by this point in the year, it had already been done.
Yeah, and that was considered late as well, right? I'm guessing. Yeah.
Mate,
So
there
look,
were meltdowns on these fan cams.
Yeah, I wasn't around back then. How old was I in 2021? Like 15. So
wow.
16 maybe? Yeah, something like that. So, but I'm not telling. I get it's a big decision, and I get we have no say in it whatsoever, right? But I'm saying do it for yourself because it is a big toll. And I don't buy that he hasn't decided or that he has a preference in mind, right? Because it's been an offer since the start of the year, pretty much. Like there's rumors going on at the start of the year.
Yep.
They want, yeah. So I get it. It's tough. We don't have a position, but I feel like you got to conduct yourself better as a professional, and I feel like his manager or his agent needs to come out with some sort of statement, right? Because we've had some from the media leaks where he's like, oh, he wants more money. We don't know if he really wants more money, right? Like you look at the OE situation last year, they dragged his name through the mud.
So that's the part that I'm with you. Do you remember when Bryce Gibbs left?
Yep.
He had already he requested a trade. It didn't go through. Came back the next season. He had his best season of his career in that final year, and he helped us get the extra pick, first round pick, which funnily enough, we split and we got deconing with one of them.
Yeah, right.
The other one was Lockie O'Brien.
I miss that guy. I like him, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, man, we're going to
Tough,
listen to
man.
the press conference. Can't wait.
Yeah, good luck with that. I started listening to them like after round 4.
Fair.
It was just like the same, just regurgitated PR, just bullshit I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, I can just rewatch the round 1 one, and it's always just the same quotes, the same buzzwords. It's just, yeah. Last week's was pretty good though. So he said they let down the club. I like that. I like the honesty. I like transparency, like, because so much of that would help with the fan engagement, and like, it would, because we just want to see something genuine. I'm sick of seeing like these, like when the players came out in the media like a couple of weeks ago, they were saying like, Cripps came out and said, we'll see who wants to be and who doesn't. Haynes said, if someone doesn't want to do their role, someone can step up. That was like a genuine statement, and we all lost our minds. Like, I was so happy. Everyone was so happy with those statements, and that wasn't even that bold. That was just like stating the obvious. So I feel like transparency would go a long way with this club.
Yeah, mate, that was a great call. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, no problem, mate. Thanks for having me.
See you, man.
See ya. Bye.
So, post-match presser FC. I've got a poll up. I've got the press conference, the audio. Do you want to listen to it? Is the question. That's the question. 66% of you say yes. I'll give it another few minutes. And then maybe if you want to like stop it at any point, I can just stop it. We can give up on it. I don't know. I did think last week he was a bit. I don't. Okay. Is anything that he might say in this press conference going to fix anything? No. But we'll give it a go. Danny, I don't know why you. Well, no, you went to the game because you went to spend time and support your club. That's why. Why not torture us some more? All right, let's go. Yalla, Hannah, let's play it. Okay.
Does it feel a bit like Groundhog Day for the 4th straight week you're out of the game at 3/4 time?
Mitch Cleary straight into it.
No, this one felt a bit different. Opposition was electric. I think we can acknowledge that. So they were obviously got a few weapons that they can fire, and there was an intent to start the game well. Thought, in the main we did. In the first half, really it was errors and efficiency that cost us. We talk about effort indicators because that seems to be the topic that's come up. You sort of plus 30 in contested possessions, but a little bit down on our pressure indicator, which is what we'd like, and probably largely due to the fact we couldn't take their marks off them. So their control of the ball and being able to get the ball from end to end made that really tough for us to be able to build that number. And when you give an opposition like that much time with the ball and that much territory, normally the inevitable happens. So we held for a while, but obviously their scoring power was a little bit too much for us.
When you speak about contest and effort continually, how disappointing is it to see the ball and how much they can punish you on turnover when that's continually in your hands and you keep pulling back to them? Yeah,
the efficiency. I mean, part of what we want to really value in the game is about how we defend better and more consistently. But we also can't ignore that the efficiency of going forward and how we connect our plays and complete our plays doesn't play a factor in that. So, we finish our goals, the ones that, are more than gettable. Maybe that momentum just shifts a little bit. But every time we sort of felt like in the first half that there was maybe a window or a little opportunity where we could sort of peg back the scoreboard, it was sort of taken off us. So either, as I said, an error, which was proving very hard to defend, or it was an efficiency piece where we couldn't complete our play. So that was the story of the game in the first half. The second half was, basically the game being in transition and us not being good enough for the ball, and we certainly couldn't get it back quick enough.
You mentioned defending. I mean, the instant in the second quarter when you had 5 guys in the goal square, Will Ashcroft kicked from 50 out, barely goes over the goal line, no one's there to touch it. Those sort of things frustrate you?
Yeah, the errors. Yeah. And, some positioning at stoppage, and, we let a player out when we shouldn't. And they're the little parts, like we spend a lot of time, and we've got a great shift early in this year around how we want to play further up the ground. But that's sort of hasn't been the case for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So no questioning around, what we're trying to do around the ball, how we want to outnumber post stoppage. So no issue with that. But the reality is that we're a three-phase game, and you can be good in one, but you need to be good in more.
I guess it's obviously a fairly big loss again. With fourth in probably 4 weeks. Has much changed from your personal perspective in terms of how you're feeling with pressure in terms of your position at the club and that sort of thing?
No, the pressure is only comes from my own expectations about how we want to play. So, and being dialed in on what that looks like for our players. So that's the only pressure that I feel. The eyes are well and truly in. We've got a job to do. So for that next 6-7 weeks, that's what we're determined to do. We've got to impact in a few more phases of the game, and we've got to value defence a little bit more than what we have. So hopefully we've corrected one part, and that we can hold that together, and then we can sort of build on to the next part. I'd like it to all come together at once, but the reality is tonight it didn't. And I reckon it's against a pretty good opposition. They're on every line. They're very strong, and clearly we know what they are as threats forward of the ball. They've got a few that can hit the scoreboard, and we weren't able to manage all of them.
Are you confident you'll be able to see that plan through to round 1 next year and beyond?
Oh, that's such a hypothetical in the future. So what we tend to do right now, because I've answered a lot of those questions in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think we just stick to the game and what the game's given us, and what the opposition gave us. In the last couple of weeks, we've been challenged in a big way. So we've got to get a really clear sight on what we've got to value next. And so for us, that's eyes in, get it done. Look at what our gaps are, and let's get on with improving it.
For a player like Tom De Koning that you're trying to convince to remain at your footy club, how disappointing is it to hear the Bronx cheers from the fans in that second half?
Oh, well, firstly,
Fuck off,
was
Mitch.
Not aware of that. But what I'd say is that Tom's a very important person to us. Very important person to us. And, he's grown at this football club. We'd love to see out his career here. And we're really hoping that that's the case. He's not in at the moment, he's a little bit challenged at the moment. But, he's a very important person to us. And we hope that he has a really long-term future here.
When you say challenge, is he playing sore at the moment?
No, he's fine. All the players out there, when you walk over the line, they're fine. So I wouldn't read anything into that outside of that. He's fine. He's ready to go. He's got a role to play, and we're just trying to get the most out of him.
You're now playing Mark a lot in the ruck and Tom up forward. It's sort of like considering how good Tom was in the ruck in the first half of the year. Is it almost it seems like public it's a resignation that you made. Have you resigned to losing Tom at the end of the year? No,
it's pretty black and white for us. I think you're reading well and truly too much into it. So I don't tend to play in that sort of area. We need a role filled forward of the ball at the moment. We're challenged with some tools right now. And Pito's in great form, so he deserves to be in the team. So we need some, tall timber forward of the ball that can draw the footy. As you've seen tonight, that if you don't, you can get intercept against, and that's where teams can launch their attacks from. So there's clearly an area we need to be able to get better at there, but there's a need to have Tom there at the moment. So that's the role we're asking him to play, but just make it black and white. It's not. You don't need to read into it too much more than that.
So how good he is, though, when he was in the ruck earlier in the year. Do you feel it's a bit robbing Peter to pay Paul by having him forward and getting so little out of him?
Oh, there probably is a little bit. Yeah, it probably is a little bit. But as I said, we need him forward. from a personnel point of view. So we need him forward, and Pitto's more than earned his right to put his hand up to be in the team. And I think Pitto did a great job today. So in terms of his ruck output, so we want a little bit more from when they spend some time forward, whether that's Tom or Pitto, and that's the challenge we've got to make us a little bit more efficient. But I don't think you need to read anything more than that.
Michael, from a coaching perspective, the form of Charlie Curnow tonight really showed that he was okay with some of his contested marking and his work rate up the field, but just couldn't finish it off on the scoreboard.
Yeah, he's had a couple of weeks like that, and I think he's sort of been steadily building over the last couple of weeks. He was able to take some pretty good grabs tonight, and some of the judgment, I reckon, sort of shows that he's working his way back into form. So he launched himself at the ball, took a couple of really strong grabs, and he'd be frustrated he's not hitting the scoreboard the way that he wants to, and we'd obviously love for him to be able to do that. But from the last month, I think he sort of presented down the line for us, put himself in really strong contested positions. We'd obviously sort of probably like to complement that with a little bit more better ball use when we come forward.
The games of Chincotta and also O'Farrell down back, who also showed some really promising signs tonight.
Yeah, I reckon Harry had a really tough game last week, and he's just got such a great demeanour about him. This kid's going to be good. He's going to be really good, and so you just want to be able to try and continue to give exposure to these guys and appreciate that it's not going to be all perfect. There's a couple of our younger players had a tough couple of moments throughout the game, but that's part of the learning experience, and that's where we need to go next. So really pleased for Harry tonight that he played a pretty solid game against 61 inside 50s. So he's defending a fair bit, and we really like where he's going to be as a player moving forward. And so obviously Chincotta coming and get a role, getting done on McCluggage was pretty important as well. But like with really good sides, there's one you can take out, but the next one steps up, and effectively that's what happened tonight.
The collision with the umpire probably didn't cost you the game, but it cost you the goal. So did they call that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't ask me what the ruling is on that. Sorry. Other than if you're interrupting the passage of play, I would have thought it's common sense to make that a ball up. Like you said, it didn't cost the game, so we move on. But if there's an adjustment that I'd be suggesting, I'd say that if you're general interference in the play, in the direct line of the ball, then I would have thought the common sense thing to do there is to ball that up. So maybe that's something they need to make an adjustment on in the future if there's a different interpretation on that.
There's a separate one later in the game where Adam Cherry made contact with an umpire. I think he's on 3 heading into tonight umpire contacts in the last 2 years, and that could tip him over the edge. Have you?
Yeah, I didn't see that one. When was that?
It was on this wing here.
Okay.
In close broadcast side.
Yeah.
Just, I guess, have you felt the need to talk to him, just given the number he's accumulated over the last couple of years?
Yeah, we've not so much specifically Adam, but we've addressed that as a football club. The correspondence has been pretty clear coming out from the AFL. So obviously the first thing we do is make sure we have that covered off, and it's been something that we've all been really mindful on within the industry. I think every club is spending some time on it. And when you're in really high contested areas, it doesn't always go perfect. There's going to be some error. Unfortunately, the mids are the ones that are going to be copping probably the brunt of it the most. So we just need to be cautious there. But I actually haven't seen the incident, so I'd probably have to. And I can actually generally say, Mitch, I haven't seen the incident. So, but I'll have to go back and have a look at that to find out what it looks like.
Is it a bit concerning? I mean, 5 days ago, Nat Key had a pretty similar collision in the Essendon game, and now Lockie Cowan. Are you concerned about where the umpires are positioning themselves?
They're pretty detailed in their. In the way they position themselves, and I think generally we get it right. I mean, you might have some people that have a very much a stronger view than what I do on this. And when you watch the 4 umpires, there is a way they move around the ground. So we back in that's coached, and it's coached really well. And appreciate also it's an evasive game, and the ball's quite dynamic, and it shifts off the line, in a split second. So. We don't get it perfect, and I suspect they're not going to either. But through that imperfection, maybe there is some avenues where we can sort of just maybe get a ball up and just reset the play, so there's no advantage to any other team.
Michael, you spoke pre-game just about the need to stay accountable and I guess keep forcing those standards. Do you think you got more of that
what you want us tonight from the side than in previous weeks, maybe?
More, but still not good enough. So we want to value how we defend, and I still even, appreciating that we've played against two really good offensive teams, but there's still things in our control that we can do a hell of a lot better, and we're not quite at that level yet. So a lot being talked about, different parts of our game, and that's fine. You can sort of continue to speculate on those and have opinions on those, but we also want to make sure that we're valuing the right parts of the game and give ourselves a chance and competing, and the way we've competed the early part of this year, although not for 120 minutes, put us in winning positions. And at the moment, we're not doing that. So we have to get to work on it.
Just a broader one of the season, when you reflect on what you did over summer and leading into the year, do you feel like you've done enough work on your skills and your ball use? Like, is that one area
Good question.
you feel like you did enough work on?
Yeah, the outcome would suggest maybe not enough. So I think we have to take notice of that. But
it's a great question.
In terms of what we actually did focus on throughout the pre-season, we spent a fair bit of time on it. So, it was a key part of the way we wanted to be able to change slightly the way we wanted to play in our game style, what we've got to make sure that we acknowledge sort of the gains of what that looked like for the most parts of this year. But it hasn't looked like that for the last few weeks consistent enough. So we'll be keep searching for that form that we're after.
And just disappointing for Raz. Did you pick up any other injuries? Was McGovern sort of looked like he might have finished the game on the pine?
I had some awareness, but it was like in the last 5 minutes. So it was probably more just, what's the point of putting him back out there? So we're more cautious. But like all these, I always tend to hold that opinion until we get the scans back on Monday. Cheers. Thank you.
Interesting. This little patch here, this hurt. Kerno, that was on the left, gettable. Cripps, that might have been in general play. Ashton, that was a gettable shot as well. And they go down the other end and kick that. That's the top, and that's just like literally a minute into the second quarter. Why am I doing this to myself? Klug, Cripps, yeah. Oh, yeah, 2 in a row. Cripps and Durden, I reckon he might have cut this to 12 or 10, potentially. And then see, look at that, like straight away. So it's happened there. Williams, Rayner. It's happened there. Okay, this was before quarter time and straight after, so fair. Okay, and then it's happened here. Durden. And then straight away the response on the Lions. They do it so well. Oh, Jesse, how did you miss that? Did you miss that shot? No, that might have actually been in the third, the miss. What was this one? That one, maybe. Which was the one that he missed? That Zach Williams should have taken the shot on goal and he passed it to him. It must have been there. Anyway. Oh, fog. Like the confidence is just so dead at this point. Yeah, Danny. Pitto's Mark call play on cooked. De Koning. So, so I've left at this point and I watched this goal go through. I'm like, okay, I'm on the train for this one. And then I see this one go through from McGovern. I'm thinking, you are kidding me. But it fizzled out pretty much. Yeah. McCluggage, 8 score involvements. So did Hewitt. Tied. Dunkley was exceptional tonight. Oh, this kid, Darcy Wilmot. He was everywhere. Of course, it was Charlie Cameron, leading goal kicker on the night. Of course it was. Yeah, look, Motlop was the least of the issue tonight. I think he had 17 touches, but missed some crucial moments. He actually looked a bit more comfortable around the ball tonight, I thought, up the ground. Inside 50s. There you go. Yeah, we look at the marks. The Lions it was just exactly how they were always going to play us. Okay. Well, all right. It's 1:38 in the morning. What are we doing? What are we doing? Pommy, how are you? Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it was Sharon and Tony. I saw that you signed up for memberships as we've been live tonight. Thank you very much. Sharon, I reckon I saw you tonight. Oh, do you know who I met tonight? I don't know if she's live right now. I met Maz. Maz came up to me at halftime, and I met Maz for the first time. It was actually the highlight of the night, apart from Pito's goal. It was brilliant. What are we doing? We're suffering? Oh, nah. We're not suffering. I mean, we are. This is just cope. I think that's it. I'm going to get up early tomorrow, get the review out, and then I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to drop the review and then just plug out of Carlton for a couple of days. Oh, I don't think this will be as bad a rating show as the last two. I think there'll actually be some solid little moments and some solid players to watch here. I'm really curious. Pommy, I'm curious to see Cowan's role. It's 2 weeks in a row. I think he's played with a little bit more pizzazz. Ah, dear. Yeah, that's it, man. Literally. Week by week proposition at this point. All right. Guys, it's been real. It's been fun. That's a lie. No, the fan cams has been fun. Thanks for being here. Yeah. See you all tomorrow. I'll be up bright and early for the review. Have a great night. Go Blues.